raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload 30s a dro while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You'll know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always get me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in the block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it. Yes, sir, hustle for every penny in the trenches. But we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down. In a minute, what am? What's the business? The biz is how you down and get it. From Cape Town to Fifth City, the sounds of Fifth's empty. When we tipsy is risky. Where the lick be, at least 10 deep, it tempts me. But there's no mystery where the chips be, the tips G. Just our history from the 60s. Pimpin' ain't easy, but we bleed it. This here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game, but the into something we suffer without supper long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show, the same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it. Yes, sir, hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggling.
Very small, 'cause nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even See, I don't need no alcohol. Your love makes me feel 10 feet tall. Without it, I go through withdrawal. 'Cause nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Build a natural. There's no place I'd rather be, 'cause nothing even matters to me. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even You're part of my identity.
Okay.
I sometimes have to
I got you on my screen right there.
Is there a way that you can is it showing me the right way? Because on my end it's showing my shirt back.
to me.
Your whole shirt just you know you read first. You have to have it. It's not have the fedora.
Yeah, okay. Alright, bet.
Yeah, I see perfect. That'd be perfect. At 3:30, whatever. Man, you want to leave it up in the bird girl, whatever.
Alright, I'm gonna stay on here then at like 3:25. I'm gonna pop back up.
I have no time for manicure.
Alright.
You was never be the one.
Alright, yeah, thanks.
Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Now my team could score and make it to the Final Four. Just repossess me 4x4. Yeah, 'cause nothing even matters.
Tune in every Sunday.
I don't know what the fuck be making niggas think they can fuck with me. Stay with a small circle to ensure I stay sucker free. Peace to the niggas rockin', those that truly got love for me. To the women that be lusting me, they dreaming of fucking me. Lick your fingertips and rub your clit to this, and let my voice bring you the climax. My raps is more real than any 3D or IMAX. Listen and digest this fly shit like Venus flytraps. Side-eyed niggas that speak on my city, you Chirac. Niggas love glorifying stupid shit, the useless shit in front of cameras, goofy capping, act as if you used to shit. With Max producing shit, how could I fall short? I hit the booth and get the kicking shit of all sorts. Listen, I'm just a product of the inner city. I remember plenty nights, there wasn't any lights and with no dinner in me. I was in tune with the harsh realities of life at an early age. Was used to struggle at an early stage. That made me appreciate the small shit. So now I kick that off the wall shit that leave these rapping niggas all sick. They say jealousy and envy get you nowhere, so I'd rather not go there. These niggas panic when I touch mics, I'm Rudy Gobert. I ain't the type to talk jazzy while hiding behind the screen naming Abby. You pushing buttons or trying to get at me, huh? I'm John Wick with the shit. I'm killing everything while bitches sleeping on me. I'm setting fire to bed frames, replacing alarm clocks with time bombs to bomb spots. This onslaught's for certain. These other niggas is long shots. Dousing your mattress in gasoline. It's asinine to try to find a rapper that rap is mean. I haven't seen a rap nigga that worry me yet. So far ahead of my time, I got fans that ain't heard of me yet. I'm not the nigga you should step to disrespectful. If I address you, won't be no rescue. They gon' have to dress you in a black suit and some dress shoes. Unless you suicidal or glutton for punishment, I'll never choose to rival the motherfuckers I'm running with.
Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West End for the Black People Media Studios.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
It ain't even registering in here, Ron.
Great afternoon to you, wonderful people. Welcome to this Friday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. Alongside Tucson Warner, my name is Herb Howard. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to hang out with us each and every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. We get together right here and we discuss issues that are impacting the black community with you all. And along with your help, we try to find the best solutions for how we can overcome many of those issues, overcome them as individuals, and overcome them as a collective. And along with your help, we seek to find the answers to those, man, because we think that we need to overcome them as a collective. And so thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of that conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly ask you, please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Share it on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion. So if you would be so kind as to please take a quick second to share the broadcast, we would certainly appreciate that. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. What is happening, good brother?
Man, it feels like a slave quarter in here, brother.
It's really not cool. It's like every time that Maze and Lil Ron have been in the studio together at the same time, it's unbearably hot in here. Like it's not okay, and I'm not finna. It's a problem. Like what? I don't understand y'all, man. Like I know y'all
blood count or something.
Yeah, I know y'all talk about being anemic and all that, and y'all low blood and all that, but it's just not okay, fam. I know it's 14 degrees outside. We're inside. Y'all specifically have been inside in this space since early this morning. Why? Like it's unbelievable. It's really not okay. Y'all got the thermostat on 82. These bright lights is giving me at least 95. And y'all have a radiator in the studio.
This is LC, Jay.
Like this, like it's like I really don't understand what y'all be on. Like at this point, I really don't even understand what it is y'all be on. It's like, come on, man. Can we please like do better? Like
we gotta go get the curse jar because I want to say flat out first. Yesterday they horse fucked us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened there.
All right.
They horse fucked us, so that's $2 old. But
you want to explain this horse effing?
Yeah, man. So we had a amazing show yesterday.
Super dope show yesterday.
So amazing that we were quiet most of the show.
Yeah, it's rare where we don't talk the most on our own show, especially for me because I get to go on and just bump my gums for 3 hours.
Yeah, but it's because we played the YouTube documentary during our show.
Mm-hmm.
They deleted it off the platform.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks to all of y'all because yesterday we had more shares on the show than we've had
ever.
Certainly since we've switched over to the What's in It for the Black People Media page. And so thank y'all so very, very much for sharing the broadcast yesterday. Truly, truly appreciate it. It did get flagged and at least partially removed, if not completely removed, because we showed that documentary. Either way, it was worth it. And, if you was here for it, you were blessed as I was.
You got it,
and
you got it.
And if you're right, if you got it, you got it.
Missed it?
And if you didn't,
you missed it.
You missed it. It just is what it is. I ain't tripping about it. It would be. I am literally sweating. Like, do you see this, bro?
Yeah,
I'm literally sweating. Like, come on.
Like you running north towards freedom.
This is not okay, dog. Like, what the hell is like? Why do y'all think this is okay? Help me understand that.
It's cooling off now.
But why? I'm like,
He one of them close to the equator slaves.
Never mind us. Never mind me and two. Why are y'all okay with it being so hot in here? Like, I don't understand it.
I really am anemic though. I can't stunt like really.
But you ain't in here.
You not in here though. You not
You
under
over there.
You not under these bright lights.
In there with
I
you.
didn't know that radiator was on.
This is ridiculous.
These lights are radiators. The thermostat that's on the wall that y'all got at 82 degrees. Who sets their thermostat at 82 degrees? Who does that? Nobody does that, bro.
Yeah, that's not natural, man.
Like, you walk in my house at any given time, the thermostat will never be at 82. Somewhere between like 73, 77. What is like you?
It's not natural.
It's not natural and it's not okay. I'm finna revolt in this joint because it's unbelievably hot. Anyhow, man, Gino, y'all ain't tell these fools to turn this heat down, man. They got a whole radiator here, and I know that's Dawn with the radiator. Gino talking about open the door. It's unbelievable in this joint, man.
It's completely disrespectful.
It's crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining for a little while, but I'm gonna be back to it. Believe that. Sadiq talking about take the third jacket off. Look, ain't about the jacket.
Tell him you're in the water.
Right. All right. What's a jacket? It's about the fact that it's 90 degrees in this room. That's what the real issue is. Anyway, my girl keep hers on 85. I know her bill is high as an eagle's butthole. That's real. I'd like to say higher than
these
giraffe
Bolingbrook
vagina.
people, man. People who grew up in households where they had a
Yeah, the heat wasn't monitored.
Of capital.
Yeah. Nobody monitored how high the heat was, how long it was running. You could leave lights on in random rooms where nobody was at.
Yeah.
Turn that light off. Turn that heat down.
You got to learn how to wrap yourself in a blanket and put an extra hoodie on.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't even say you was cold until you had a hoodie on.
Right.
Like, clearly you ain't cold.
Figure it out.
You can't just be walking around the crib and the wife be like, oh, it's cold in here. Fool, put some clothes on.
Yeah, you better figure it out.
Put on some socks and a hoodie, and then you can say it's cold. If it's cold after that, then we can talk about turning the heat up. But until then, you just underdressed. It ain't cold.
Yeah, this
This is. Anyway, man.
It is what it is.
I'm gonna be cool for a little while because this is not even all right. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, bro, you look like you got low blood sugar over there, man. You sweating for real.
I'm not joking. It's hot as heck in here, G. This is. Ain't what's up, man. For real. Anyhow, we'll keep it rocking anyway. Listen, man, we do have a dope show planned for y'all today. We are absolutely excited about this edition of I Say What I Said. It is a Relationship Friday, so we will get into some relationship talk. At some point, we're going to be joined by a sister who says that she wants to have a conversation about how frequently women have sex when they do not want to. With their partners, with somebody they're dating. And the premise behind that is, they do it because They feel like it's easier than saying no and having a conversation
How
about.
old is she?
She's 34, 35.
Oh, okay.
So they do it, lose weight. I'm definitely gonna lose weight, man. It's amazing talking about lose weight. I'm definitely gonna lose weight the way y'all got it in here. Y'all tripping, bro. In here wilding. Anyhow, whether it's with their partner and whether they think it's because it's just easier than having a conversation about why you don't want to have sex, or just go ahead and get it over with, or they do it out of a sense of duty or a sense of obligation. But the premise was that, that frequently women have sex when they absolutely do not want to. And so we're going to be having that conversation later on in the show. But before then, we're going to be joined by internationally renowned spoken word artist, man. This brother is as dope as they come when you talk about being a wordsmith. He goes by the name of, his name is Brandon Alexander Williams. He used to go by the stage name of Real Talk. Some people still use them both interchangeably. But Brandon Alexander Williams is a spoken word artist of the highest order. The students at Wordsmith, like very few people I've come across. Real dope dude too. And we're gonna talk to him about some of the things he's got going on, books, shows, a couple of different things. Gonna try to see if we can get a piece or two out of him, see if he can spit a piece for us or whatever in this conversation. And so definitely looking forward to chopping it up with him. We're gonna be talking with him in a few minutes, actually. Right around 3:30, we'll be talking to Brandon Alexander Williams.
Yeah, you sent me one of his poems earlier today.
Yeah.
And said it's one of the conversations he would like to have on the show today.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting conversation. I'm sure I have a very interesting take on it that's going to conflict with the poem.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be phenomenal.
It's not that I didn't think you would.
I know. I'm the pushback king.
You are the pushback king. It didn't matter what it said. I could have been like, listen, man, Jesus is going to come and say he love you. But do he really, though?
Is that because I'm an asshole? That's $3 I owe you. Or,
let me go get this jar.
Or, am I analyzing the world from a different perspective?
I didn't say you were an a-hole.
I'm asking the question.
Oh. Yes, you're an a-hole. Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Anyhow, man, looking forward to having that discussion with him. He's also a dude who drops a lot of game for other artists, right? Just in terms of how they can grow their brand, how they can maximize their earning potential.
Monetize their creativity.
He's a super, super dope dude. He's also a professor, right? Like he teaches about like hip hop, rap, rhythm and poetry, right? Rap, rhythm, and poetry. So definitely looking forward to having a conversation with him. Again, he's just overall super dope dude, and I would love for y'all to get into a bit of a debate because y'all are two of the smartest people that I know. It'll be good.
I don't know if it's gonna be a debate.
Why not? Why not?
I just don't know yet.
No, because what? Who do you debate with? You debate with your equals and your peers. Everybody else you educate.
It might be a debate.
Is that what you say?
I'm just saying I'm anticipating talking to the brother. That's all I'm saying.
anticipating talking to him too. He's a super, super dope brother, man. Super dope brother. So we're gonna be talking with him coming up here shortly, right about 3:30, man. I did not get a chance to check out much on the network today. Did you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't even catch the Ruthie Moore show. I didn't catch BOD. I didn't catch the Torrey Muhammad show. I did catch On the Soil. I watched pretty much all of On the Soil.
I listened to On the Soil on the way here.
Yeah, I caught pretty much all of On the Soil today. And that was a dope edition of On the Soil, man.
He doesn't care.
Right, he doesn't care.
You're right.
He doesn't care about anything. Drop the cash app for what? RO double.
We did that curse fund.
We need the curse fund.
Yeah, let's put that curse fund in there.
You gonna put it in there?
Yep, right now.
Cool. Put the curse fund cash app in there. I'll drop it. I'll pin it on this thing. Also, So no, I was watching On the Soil with the bigs. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to Terrence. Yeah, I hear you, but I'm kind of busy. You know what I'm saying? I feel you. You know.
I know.
I feel you. I love you, bro.
What did he say?
Don't matter.
That's what he said.
Hey, Tay.
Hey, Tay.
Hey, Tay. Jesus Christ, man. So Tiger just threw my cash up in there because it came from the hoodies, which is fine. But let's just send all the curse funds to one place. So let's use this one I'm about to pin. Let's use the one that Tucson put up. Bob, we'll use that one for the cuss fund. So y'all want to donate to the cuss fund? You can send it there.
To the rest of the show.
Every single penny of that will be going to a charitable organization at the end of the month.
Yeah. So in regards to like tuning out to the rest of the shows, that's just because we're focused now, right? We've been scoring 40, getting out the bed for the duration of our.
Yeah, no, we've actually been working on our show.
We're a little bit we're working now.
I worked harder today than I worked on a Friday in a long time.
I'm proud of you too, man. I want you to know that.
I was like, yo, why am I working so hard on a Friday? I'm on my. He want his ass beat now.
I'm tired of Rod already.
He want his ass beat now.
We've only been here for like 10 minutes, and I'm tired of Rod
we
already.
We only work with him like once a week now.
Jesus.
And so
Christ.
it's like
we got to get rid of this once a week, man. Rod should be.
It's getting to a point.
We're going to train Rod in for the new model.
Your handwriting is terrible. I don't know why you keep writing those doggone notes. It's like, y'all. Anybody want a little brother? We got one for the low.
Y'all don't supposed to acknowledge I'm trying to produce this show. Don't acknowledge.
No, you're just trying to get on our nerve. That's all you're doing.
Christ.
That's all you're doing. You're just trying to get on our nerve. That is it. That is it. That is all. Anybody want a little brother? We got him for the low. Matter of fact, we'll pay you to take him off our hands. Okay? Jesus Christ, man. Anyhow, on the soil, Gino had on a dope hoodie. Did you see that?
I did not. I didn't pay attention. Let's put it like that.
Dorks and Dweebs.
It said Dorks and Dweebs?
Yeah. Fire, too. Super dope hoodie.
Check it out.
Liked it a lot. He said it's his man's line. I forgot. I think his man's name is Pierre. I forgot the line. I forgot the label. I mean, Gino, drop the label if you will. But the hoodie was fire. And so shout out to. I still ain't. You know what? They still like how much for the hat? Like who I gotta know to get a Biggs hat around here?
Yeah, obviously we can't get one. I think I saw Mays had one the other day.
Mays had one.
I think so. I saw a bag, like a leader's bag. It wasn't a leader's bag, but one of them kind of cute bags with a hat in it.
Big Lavender got the new Biggs hat, the black, the plush black one. Gino, we gotta talk, bro.
I thought that's what was going on.
Like, just tell me why I need to send my Cash App to so I can get
but I wasn't gonna
the black plush joints. Them joints is fire. I want one bad. Anyhow. They had a dope show, man, because they not only they getting what was the hoodie fire, and our brother T was back in the studio. T been moving around. He ain't been able to be in the studio.
That's the first time I'm seeing T in a minute.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good to have T back in the studio and have both of the brothers touch down on the soil in the same spot. So it was good to have T back in the spot too. And they got into you know how you mentioned that article? I mean that shooting about the snow.
Yeah, I saw you tag, man.
Yeah, they talked about that piece. They showed the video. I hadn't seen the video.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't want to see stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying to show it because T was like, "Do we need to show it?" Gino was like, "Hell yeah, show it." Now I'll be like that too, like, "Hell yeah, show it." You be like, "Nah."
Gino also quietly watched the man eating the rat before we showed it, so he's into that.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. Anyhow, that was a dope conversation to have, and they got into a conversation about racism in the NFL, specifically as it relates to these CTE patients and how these football players develop CTE. And apparently, there's a new method that they can test and test you for CTE even before you're dead. It used to be they can only do it after you were deceased because they need to test your brain, but they can do some different tests now to kind of see if you have it. But apparently, what they're doing is. Based on race,
we finna whoop Rod ass. That's my $4th right there.
What are you doing now?
Rod knows why. Don't forget you know my phone number, Rod. I'm serious, right?
He's
just irritating me more and more. Oh God!
Yo, Ron, cool out, man. Cool out, man. Whatever. When a thought pops into your head, like let me tell them this.
Then he gonna look over here and be goofy when I read the text.
Something is wrong with him, man.
Look, man.
Don't you see how Esco do her job? Don't you see how Flo does his job? Why do you do your job differently from them? You see how Reese do his job?
They let y'all do whatever the fuck y'all want.
We're going to do whatever we want and come bring us our dollar.
You run that dollar.
Matter of fact, when you bring the dollar, get the jar. It's in the go get the jar. You know where it's at. Go get the jar.
Make yourself useful.
Make yourself useful. Go get the jar. Nobody got time for that, man. Jesus Christ. If you don't know, the entire month of February here on I Said What I Said, we are going to be honoring and respecting our ancestors by putting forth our best effort to not curse. And every single time that we do curse, it is going to cost us $1 on the show for the entire month. At the end of the month, we will be donating the entire Cuss Fund jar to a charity of our choice. And, so far, I don't know what's in the jar. We about to find out.
We're doing terribly today. I'm doing terribly today.
Yeah, you off to a rousing start.
I was great yesterday.
No, yesterday the Cuss Fund jar didn't get much, didn't get fed very well. But today you are. Did you put your dollar in here?
You know he didn't.
Yeah, cash out that buck, sir. We ain't got time to be playing with you. But at the end of the day, we are going to be giving. At the end of the month, we're going to be donating however many times we cuss worth of dollars to a charity of our choice. And many of y'all have jumped in and chosen to participate too, and we appreciate that. And every single one of your pennies will certainly be going to the same organization. So there's that.
Shout out to the good brother Howard Trout.
Howard Trout is the man.
A dub on the Cuss Fund, so we got 20 to go.
Okay, we got 20 to drop in there. Who sent us? Shannon has sent us 20 before.
Dub,
we ran through that dub the first day.
Through that the first
we
day.
ran through about
day.
13 of that
It was
dollars.
a struggle that day.
Yeah, so we ran through that one. So we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. We're gonna try to make a contribution to an organization that is doing phenomenal work out here in the community. Told you guys that we were going to be joined by a internationally renowned spoken word artist. He is one of the absolute best at what he does, and he is with us right now. So without any further unnecessary delay,
Uncle Walter's calling me right now.
Let's pop him in. Uncle Walter's calling you?
Yeah. I'm not gonna pop him in.
You want to see what Uncle Walt wants on the show?
Nope.
Anyway, let me.
Uncle Walt doesn't know he's on camera, and he'll go right in, and there'll be a whole different experience with Uncle Walt.
They get to know Uncle Walt for real.
They get to know Uncle Walt for real.
Anyhow, on the screen right now is the good brother Brandon Alexander Williams, formerly known as Real Talk. He is a wordsmith of the absolute highest order. He is a black brother that personifies love and action. And it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Brandon Alexander Williams, sir, how are you?
Good, man. I'm well. I'm well. I got my health. I got my children, my wife, you know what I'm saying? All is well, man.
That's real. Glad the family is well. Glad that you are doing well. In this time of before we get into a little bit about who you are and what some of the things you got going on in this unprecedented time during this international pandemic, how have you been able to pivot, remain relevant, and continue to bless the world with your gift in many different ways? One of the things I've seen you do that I've really, really appreciated is all of the free game that you've been dropping, like giving to other artists to say, here is how you can grow your brand. Here is how you can expand your market. Here is how you can maximize your earning potential. And you drop these jewels and you give personal accounts for how you've been able to utilize these tips in your own journey. And I've really appreciated those every step of the way, man. Everything from how you interact with potential bookings or promoters who reach out to you to say, okay, hey, I want you to do the show. And how, from the start to the finish, all the way to the end of the show. You've talked about how you go from the initial contact of, hey, I'm interested in booking you for said show, all the way through the end of that show. The show is over. How you continue to maximize every part of that process, man. I've appreciated that. But what was the motivation behind doing that, and what else have you been up to during this pandemic?
Man, I appreciate you for watching, man. The motivation behind that is that, as an artist, when we first start out, we have dreams and aspirations of we want to get signed or whatever, or we want to make it super big. And so over time, what I've learned is that one, the market isn't as crowded as we think it is. Right. It's more than enough money to go around no matter what city that you're in. And so my thing is if I give everybody the game that I got that worked for me, then that makes the market bigger. I use the metaphor of if I'm an orange salesman at the market and I only brought 100 oranges today and I sell out in the first 30 minutes, people are going to be like, yo, when are you coming back with your shipment? But they might also ask, who else has oranges? So the next month that I do, or the next week that I do this farmer's market, I need to not only bring my oranges, but I need to contact other orange farmers and be like, yo, this is where they copping them at. And then eventually what that's going to evolve into is orange pie makers and orange juice julep makers and you know what I'm saying and stuff like
Yes,
that.
sir.
And so
Everything.
my thing is it creates the market and makes it bigger. You know, most people, I want to say like 99% of people who book spoken word, it's their first time booking that type of talent. And so two things that I want to do is one, I want to tell them where other poets are, and then two, one thing that I just started implementing as a permanent policy is whenever people reach out to me, I offer them a bulk package with me and like 4 other poets that I'll then subcontract for them. Because when someone books me, I'm always thinking, when are you doing this next year, right? Or if you're doing this monthly, you're gonna want a different poet. You can't get me every single month. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and so
real.
my thing is I want to pass the ball, because the more I pass the ball, you know, especially during Black History Month, like I already got 2 inquiries on the 25th and somebody booked already. So I want to pass that ball to somebody else who I know is as dope as me or better than me, in my opinion. And so my thing is, it's more than enough for everybody to get to it. And so I'm just really passionate about eating off your art, man. I'm really passionate about that because there was no blueprint for me. There were little stepping stones along the way that were paved. But I figured out like a full road, man. And I want to show everybody how to get to it.
Brandon, teach us some moves, man. We not poets, but we creatives, and we trying to maximize our art as well.
Man, let me see. As creatives, one thing that a lot of artists need to do, or just creatives, period, is repurpose your content. Content that you have already. Figure out different ways to repurpose it. So of course, you already know with a podcast, you can do video content. You can also do audio content. Make if there's something like segments that you guys do on a regular basis, or like maybe it's a funny quirk that like either that one of you guys does on a regular basis. Have like an intern or somebody make a compilation of like, this is how many times that Herb says this is a Herb compilation, right? And it could be a 1 minute long joint, but there's many ways that you can chop up your podcast. You can find a unique topic that you talk about on each of your episodes of your back catalog, and that's going to make people reach into your back catalog. And so I think that it's important to do that. One thing I'm doing big in books, right? So like I produced this book in 2018. It's called The Black Love Mixtape. And hold on, let me get the right angle so you can see all the red. There you go. That's a little bit better. The Black Love Mixtape. And so me and 72 brothers from across the country put together poems, songs, and raps dedicated to uplifting the Black woman, right? The pages are black or white ink. And on every page, we got a QR code, right? Let me zoom in on that.
That's fire. I love that.
You got a QR. And so when you scan the QR, it takes you, I'm going to show you with my phone. It takes you to a private playlist of that artist spitting that piece. So it's an audio book built into the physical book, right? So boom, if I scan this code, I'm gonna get my angle good. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna just do it like this. Boom. And boop. So when I scan it, it takes me to a website of a private playlist of that artist spitting that piece. So it's an audio book built into the physical book.
That's fire.
And I think this is the way that artists can sell their content. People aren't buying CDs anymore. And you don't feel right selling a jump drive to somebody for $10. But if you get your lyrics and put them in a book and then put the scanner on the page, and then your scanner can go directly to your YouTube, or it can go to your Spotify, or to your Tidal, or it can go to your Linktree, right? Or to your DistroKid link that takes you, that tells somebody, hey, you can take your pick, whichever streaming site you want to listen on. And I think you guys could possibly do something else. I'm not sure what you would publish in a book, maybe like random thoughts, or you know what I'm saying, like cool topics, or somebody can transcribe some of your dialogue back and forth, but it's still content and people will consume it different ways.
No, that's fire, man. That's super, super innovative. I like the idea. I like the thought behind it. And the first time I saw it, I was like, yo, what? Like, I can do what? So you got the piece right there on the page, but then you can scan it, and then you can hear the artist spit the piece too. And that, I was like, that's super, super fire, man. Super, super fire. One of the other things, one of the other gems that you've dropped that I really, really liked was maximizing your earning potential after you perform, right? And capitalizing on those impulse buys of, hey, that's the artist that just came off the stage. I want to buy something right now, and always being available to them and having those things readily available to sell them while those people have that purchase at the forefront of their mind. But then also, you know, even if you set up a table after your show and you kind of get a line where, you know, after some of your shows, I've seen the line be 20, 30, 40 deep with people waiting to get merch. And you know, it's a process, right? You're going through that thing, you're swiping the cards, and you're doing all these things, and people are, do I want that? Do I want this? Do I want that? Let me look through this. Let me look at that. And at the same time, while it's good to have 40 people in line for your stuff, that 40th person is like, do I really want the book, or I really want the hoodie, but am I really finna wait 25 minutes to get up there? I don't really know. I'm ready to get out of here. And you came up with a good way to kind of, I won't say expedite the process. It's still gonna be 20 minutes, but at least gives them something to do to where the wait doesn't seem so long.
Yeah, give them something to do while they waiting. So I say, and this was just something I tried. I remember seeing a long line at shows and missing out on those sales, seeing like 20 people in line and only getting to 12 of them. Because you're like, dang, where'd the other person go? And now you kind of like out here like a scavenger trying to find like who? No, man, wasn't you in line? And you're like, oh yeah, man, but I gotta go. And so what you do is once you see the line, you say, hold on real quick, who all wants this book? Who all wants this item? And you come and pass it out to them. And what that does, it shows trust. You know what I'm saying? And it says, yo, I'm not worried that you're gonna run off with my merchandise. You know what I'm saying? Like that because that doesn't create. Yeah, it's love in here. That doesn't create a safe space for like sales. Right? If you don't trust somebody at an open market, like think about it, any type of marketplace or farmer's market it's a lot of trust going on. It's like
you're free to walk through the stuff, pick up this, pick up that.
Pick that up. And then they calculate your total in the head. And so what people get to do is they get to flip through the book. And then also once you've touched the book so much, you kind of feel like, man, I kind of, not that I ruined the merchandise, but I feel like it's mine. So I kind of gotta buy it. I'm kind of stuck in it. And so that's just a sales tactic that I learned, man. I started I sold shoes when I was in high school. I worked for a shoe store called Trade Home Shoes. And if you got one in your mall, you probably walk by it all the time. All the dudes got to wear ties and there's seats in there. It's a bunch of seats. And we used to have to sit people down and like put a shoehorn on and put shoes on them. Yeah. But one of the things that we learned, one of the first two things was like greet them and then like ask an open-ended question, then a closed-ended question. So it's like, how are you doing today? Open-ended. Then it's like, are you looking for shoes or boots? They didn't say they were, right? But depending on what wall they went to, you're watching their body language. All of that makes a big difference. So after your show, you want to have your table set up by the door or even by the bathroom, right? So that people are, oh, he's right there. Because once the show is over, people are trying to get home. Some folks get, families. After any show I go to, I'll go right home, especially if I'm by myself. I don't hang out afterwards like I used to with my homies or when I was single out here. I got business to attend to and I got a family that I'm responsible for. And that,
you got a queen and a young king.
For me. I don't have no time for none of that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm getting these sales off and I'm heading back to the crib. And so it's important that you do that. And then one other thing I did as an experiment that worked, the power of suggestion, right? So just like I say, if someone books me, I'll say, hey, I cost this much, but if you want to produce a whole show, I can produce the show for you. Just give me a budget. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I'll subcontract the artists and pay them a decent wage. And that's what I'm doing this time around for Black History Month. And some people are biting on it, some people aren't. But they know that in the back of their mind when they look at my menu item, if you will, right? It's like we can book him for 15 minutes, we can book him for 30 minutes, we can book him for an hour, or we can book him with a group of people that we know is going to be just as dope as him. And then that takes all of the having to call back and send emails to a bunch of different artists. They're like, I just go through modern day griot. You know what I'm saying? If I want to book this person. But they still got to come with a nice little bag because I'm wearing a producer hat now.
Yeah, I'm doing the whole thing, right?
Negotiating contracts for other people and all that. And then internally, I'm sharing this same type of game to the other artists. I got on the phone the other day with the homie Brandon Leak that just won America's Got Talent with spoken word. And I told him, hey, I'm letting you know I'm putting the word out and I encourage you to do the same. When someone books you, tell them, hey, also, in addition to booking me, you can book me with some other people for this 3 times my rate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or 4 times my rate.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make sure it's hot. And so
let me curate this whole thing for you. You see, I got the goods. You can rest assured that I'm also closely associated with the goods too. Let me put this thing together for you and you know what I'm saying?
Whereas before, when big homies I would see would just be like, yo, when you get your gigs, make sure you get recurring gigs. I'm like, no, I want to make sure we get them. But I had to figure out how do I not split my pie? But how do I multiply it so that you can eat as well? You can get your own. And then I want to teach you how to fish as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, and walk the unbeaten path. And so that's the type of time I'm on right now, man, is showing people how to get it. And anybody that books me, I'm showing them like, hey, you trying to like, if it's always universities in the middle of nowhere, right? They got big bags at schools and they're like, hey, we want to book you because we saw you do poetry. And what they're trying to do is recreate the feel that they saw on Def Poetry or at an open mic that they saw. And it's like, just give me the bag to do it for you.
Now, you put together absolutely phenomenal shows, man. I love the cooperative nature of them. Matter of fact, me and Tu was walking out of the studio one day and Jay Ivy was coming in. He's about to be on somebody else's show. And so Jay Ivy was coming into the studio as we was leaving out of here, and just chopped it up with him for a quick second, and getting to poetry. Your name comes up, and so we just talking about some of the dope spoken word artists that there are out there. And Jay Ivy was on one of your shows that because you had started to do these phenomenal shows.
Chicago Night Live,
right? Chicago Night Live at the Promontory, and Jay Ivy was on one of the shows, and I found some of my favorite artists from Chicago Night Live, right? Just from that. And I don't mean like they was already my favorite. Obviously, I knew who Jay Ivy was, and you've had other people on that I did know. But you've introduced me to artists. I was like, I don't know who that. So for some reason, his name will come to me as soon as it doesn't need to. But his name escaped me right now. But he's a light skinned brother, poet from Oakland. He was on the show. Short, light skinned cat, poet from Oakland.
Oh, you talking about
Prentice Powell?
Prentice Powell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That dude, fire. Yeah. And so I've been a fan of his ever since that night, and just rocking with his stuff and supporting everything he got going on. Only because you had him on the show, man. But that type of cooperative nature is rare in the industry. I feel like Tu is often talking about this crabs in the barrel mentality, and he's always saying it's not the crabs. The problem is the barrel, right? That the barrel isn't their natural environment. They don't do that in the ocean. You know what I mean? And so. I like the fact that you kind of operate outside of the barrel and operate outside of, how people think it has to be. Like, no, I don't have to be like that. We can all get to this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Real quick, I want to shout out a couple of people that's in the book. That's Chicago cats and also non-Chicago cats. So of course on Chicago PD, Leroy Hawkins, the black cop. He from the crib. He from Harvey.
Be powerful.
But, he got bars for real. He got bars like we spar. That's my homie. And so he's in this book. Also, Jay Ivy is in the book. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable, he's in the book. Big Boy from Outkast is in the book. Malcolm Jamal Warner. I said Jay Ivy. Harold Green. My man Green. Ace Metaphor.
We got to get Harold Green on the show.
Add two. You got to get Add two up there too, man. Billy Tuggle, Black Ice from Philly. A lot of cats, man. A lot of cats. Doma T Pongo.
Doma
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Doma T. Doma T got bars, man.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a lot of dope cats, man. Cats that I respect and that I met on the road. And I was just happy to put this piece of art together, man, because there's so much love in it. But like I said, I'm really passionate about the business of artistry because I want cats to eat off their art forever. And I want your art to live and keep going on so that your children's children can eat off that estate. I know you guys probably seen that interview with Jason Weaver on Vlad TV.
Yeah.
And he talks about his mom negotiating his royalty deal with Disney through Lion King.
Best thing that ever happened to him too.
Man, and how he still eats off of that today. And a lot of times people leave that money on the table just because they're not aware.
Let me pause you parenthetically. Did you know that Simba and Nala were siblings?
No, I didn't.
It was just something I learned yesterday, and it kind of blew my mind. And I was like, wow. And so I talked about it yesterday. Two don't care for that kind of stuff. That's too soft of a conversation for Tucson. But my mind was blown. But anyhow, moving right along. You said
I thought Nala was the daughter of one of Sarabi's homegirls or something.
Right.
Homegirl lion.
Right. So they don't have the same mother, but they do have the same father. Right.
Oh, got you, because the lion be over the whole pride.
Exactly. Lions only have one alpha male in the whole entire pride. There was no mention of Nala's father, and if she was not Mufasa's cub, he would have killed her. And that's just how lions move. They come over, they take over the pride, they run off whoever the alpha male used to be, they kill all his kids and make their own kids. If Nala wasn't his, Nala would have been gone. It just is what it is. And so I know that breaks a lot of people's heart. As I was telling them yesterday, like, you ruined my childhood. They can't be siblings. Like, no, they can be siblings. That's how lions move.
That's sad.
But anyway,
that's
man,
wow.
you sent me a promo code, and I got it pinned up in the comments for everybody that's tuned into the show. If you purchase the book today, there is a $10 off discount that you can receive, and it is pinned in there. So if you text Redbook to 405-585-7325 to get $10 off of an autographed copy of the Black Love mixtape. So it'll come autographed to you, and you get it for $10 off if you make your purchase during the show and text hashtag Redbook to 405-585-7325. Again, we will leave that pinned up so everybody can see.
Yeah, cop that, because if you go to Amazon, it's gonna be $35 plus shipping.
Yeah.
So we trying to save you some money. Some people be like, oh, I'm gonna get it later. And so you can go ahead and get it while it's hot. And I'm gonna spit something, you know what I'm saying, at some point while I'm on here too. So
you know, I was gonna ask you to hop in your bag, man. You know, I was gonna ask you to hop in your bag because in addition to mentoring and educating other artists, you are also just always advocating just for the people, just for Black people in general, and how we need to move. And you talk about this responsibility of brothers in the community and what that responsibility looks like. And you also touch on a lot of different things as it relates to relationships and those types of things, man. So bless us with whatever kind of piece you want to bless us with. We happy to have it, man. But I definitely want to encourage y'all to go out and get the book. I know many, many people who have gotten the book. No one, including myself, no one has ever said a bad word about the book. It was absolute honor and pleasure to have Brandon come rock the stage at my private, intimate venue, and everybody in there was like, "I want the book, and all them, most of them was my people, and so they all like, man, that book was fire. I love it all the time. Refer to it often. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and check out the book. Brandon,
low key, man,
what's up?
The book is a date night, really. Like what I got in here, I got instructions, right? So on the front it says, yo, read one piece silently, then read the piece aloud, and then play the audio. You get 3 different experiences. When you read comments or something, a voice pops in your head. Then when you try to read things aloud, then it's like, whoa, wait a second, that's a tongue twister. That's kind of tricky. And then you can respect the art. You respect the artist a little bit differently. And then when you hear it, you're like, oh, this is something completely different. So like, for example, in this book, if you listen to Up on My Luck by George Jackson, you reading the lyrics and then you play it, you're like, oh snap, this is an R&B song, like fully produced.
George Jackson.
And this dude is from the south side of Chicago.
Writers,
and it's like he plays 7 instruments.
Musicians.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, then you might listen to, like another piece by my man Tyson, and God thankful, thank God he's out now. But at the time he was locked up, so he did a piece for his daughter. I got him on the phone spitting from JPay. You know what I'm saying? Like spitting his poem to his daughter on there. And then Big Boy, he submitted his verse from Spodioty Dopalicious in the book. And so it's just dope, man. It's a really dope piece of content, man. Different types, different quality types of audio too. So you get a bunch of different a bunch of different sensations and all of that from it, man. So
what you sent us over the piece to look through, to familiarize ourselves with the lyrics of a piece that you wanted to do, man. So whenever you're ready, brother, the floor is yours to drop that piece on the people, and then we can have a conversation about it thereafter.
Bet up. All right, check it out. This joint is called Dear Brother. I heard my partner say, I ain't gonna let my daughter date until she 18. I guess he thought it safe was taught to automate the way she talk and conversate, as she ought to kind of all the way be under his rule with the 100 rules. I say, you scared? He said, yeah, Joe. You know how he was, trying to bust down everything. We ain't showed him love when parents came around. We knew not to act dumb, and when it got boring, we dipped right after that nut. I say, what? Your daughter too good for that? He like, watch your mouth. I say, bro, what you gonna do when she start to like them now? Break his jaw if he disrespect her? Catch a case, now she vulnerable again because you the only one to just protect her? He said, I'm reluctant because I don't know them boys. When we was young, we didn't respect old men talking that noise. I say, no, we did respect old men that showed us poise and approached with love abundantly and didn't talk down like we was under heat. Damn right they don't respect you. You just stepped through, moved in the neighborhood they already in. All to begin. Fine wife, tall picket fence, walking your small dog in the park while whipping a gaudy sedan. You can't walk in auntie house unannounced without your shoes off and be antisocial, then ask us why our mood's off. You better introduce y'all. That's rude, nigga. You better introduce y'all and help raise the boys on the block. So you ain't scared to let your daughters date the boys on the block. She'll be in the safe space made by the boys on the block from the code of honor that you gave the boys on the block. I say, help raise the boys on the block. So you ain't scared to let your daughters date the boys on the block. She'll be in a safe space made by the boys on the block from the code of honor that you gave the boys on the block. Shit, create a father's union where the elders can meet. Share and compare wisdom, be hella discreet, and be there for the heirs neglected by the kings that chose to leave or get captured by the slave catchers for nonviolent crimes and rave gestures to rep the place they grew and were gave lectures by big homies that sprayed hecklers but still preached to be way better. So be way better. Dear brother, I love you. No extra sauce on it. No bruh with it. Awkward, uncomfortable. Love, just love. No condition on it. I know you struggle with the women, homie. I do too, but damn arbitrary fishing, homie. It ain't my mission, homie, nor my hobby or my fate. To keep hunting for sport with my body is debate. If I could go back, I probably would have waited 10. It's like I probably would be 5 years married to somebody now with a smaller body count. I ain't got this shit figured, homie. I'm just trying now, doing my best, trying not to ruin my flesh. I don't wish to slang dick no more, to random chicks no more, just for instant gratification that leads post-orgasm temptation and lust. 9 months later, she making a fuss, adding to giving you permanent attitude. Same face as Smokey's mama when she say make it enough. I used to feel like God when they moan daddy, but lately I'm stuck. Now I never want to be called that shit. Bro, that's some old Electra complex shit. Gender opposite of Oedipus. Dog whistle rhetoric. Don Juan pimping. I'm good on that medicine. I'm not tripping. Words mean things, so I'll talk different. Anyway, I got some more philosophies in membrane. Bro, you know how as soon as you bust and blood goes back up in brain and you no longer insane?
Facts.
Well, I got a theory. Hats off. Any man that cheats, too lazy to jack off. That's all. Grown nigga, phone printer, facts, dog. Cover sheets in the front. You know where we at, dog. Living intact, taking a minute to grasp other definitive facts, dicking them down, giving your soul. You won't be getting it back. I learned to limit my access. Like, no, you can't come to my house. I don't know where you at yet. I say I learned to limit my access. Like, shorty, you can't come to my house. I don't know where you at yet. Brothers, learn to limit your access. Like, shorty, you can't come to my house. I don't know where you
Talk
at.
that talk.
But I'm going to call you king, encourage you in the light. Bro, you ain't community pipe. You be a unit of life. And that's that piece. Dear brother.
Yo,
Yeah, that's super dope.
That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. Thanks for spitting that piece, too. Did you catch that, man?
The poem is beautiful, brother.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
And it's not that I got pushback per se.
Yes, you do.
I
You
just
push
think it's
back
a
on everything you've ever heard.
I think it's a nuanced conversation, though.
Yeah.
Right. And I live my life in that manner, right? I create the village. You know what I mean? You talk often about the comment I made in the statement where I said I raised 100 million of these little boys if it means I got to do this for my children. And I mean that. And I live that sincerely.
You do.
But I'm gonna also say this: the nuance to it is that I think the way black men treat black women is usually based in the way their mother responds to them. So no matter who that father is, and I think this context, I said nuance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I praise my father all the time. You hear it on the show all the time. Right? We had Beach on the show the other day.
Yeah.
I had a village of powerful black men. I did. But I was community pipe too. You know what I mean? And I was community pipe because I was dealing with issues with my mama. That's the real thing, right? And in regards to will I let that boy deal with my daughter, I know that my daughter's going to receive her self-esteem from her relationship with me. So the reality of it is, at least now I don't want to say the reality of it is, but the nuance of it is that I got to be that first God figure in a man form for my daughter,
right?
So that she makes the right choices. It ain't about what they doing. It's about her choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel it.
That's real. Word.
Nah.
Yeah, man. I when I the first part of the piece, of course, where it came to me because one of my best friends had just randomly said, he was like, "Yeah, man, my daughter get older, she can't date nobody till she 18." And I was thinking to myself, like, man, like, I was like, you know what you're saying? And he was like, yeah, like, nigga, she can't be with nobody till she 18. Right. I was like, and I'm like, no, like you're assuming that by the time your daughter is 18, the young men around her in her village won't be of the caliber that you trust to like be able to date her.
Right.
But you have a jurisdiction over that right now.
Right.
And so of course I was drawing this picture of like, yo, like, and here's where you could start. Here's the cornerstone. Brothers that's listening to this. Simply speak to black boys that you see. Wherever you live, they're gonna be there all the time. You know what I'm saying? So start by speaking and starting a conversation. And as I draw the picture in the poem, it's like, yo, you can't walk in auntie house unannounced without like you
better
damn right they don't respect you. You just step through. Moved in the neighborhood they already in. All to begin. Fine wife, tall picket fence, walking your small dog in the park while whipping a gaudy sedan. Bruh, big bro, you gonna come in our neighborhood looking cool, looking fly, and your wife fine, and you got a nice car, and you ain't gonna speak to us? Like, all right, bet. But let something happen to your car. Hey, y'all seen something? Now you get all the conversation in the universe. Then it's like, nope, now. Right? It's like, nope, now. And then your daughter grow up, now they plotting on her, you know, and instead of your daughter coming home and this happened to me. It's this almost happened to me, but Mike and them jumped on the boy. You know what I'm saying? Then it becomes, man, bring Mike and them to the crib. I'm gonna cook them a meal and chop it up with them. But peep this though, Herb. Bring the boy too. We want to reform him. We don't want to throw him away. We don't want to throw him away, right? We want to reform him. This is why you got lumped up. This is why you shouldn't be on that, because somebody clearly taught you wrong. And so that way, I feel like that's a start with it, because the coolness factor is a big deal, man. And also, I just want to say, like, the Black village is always going to reside at the barbershop and beauty salon, because those are the businesses that we won't outsource. We don't trust nobody else to touch our head. And so people are always going to pass through there, and business is always going to pass through there. And so I think that's where it starts, but that's also where conversations happen, where women are taught to only aspire to marriage and to, only go after just a husband, you know what I'm saying? But not necessarily, different lifestyles are praised. Like, for example, as boys, right? In a barbershop, you see a dude come in and he comment on, oh, I got 6, 7 of them, and everybody's praising them. Then a brother come in like, oh, I'm getting married, and like only a couple of dudes cheer. And we see that as boys, and we like, man, I want that type of validation when I tell my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, that I just got up with shorty.
Clearly the 6 or 7 is better than the marriage.
Boom.
But is that a reference point of male behavior, or is that a reference point of the social norm?
It's a good question. Let's pause it right there. I want to have that conversation on the other side of the break. Got to take a quick break, but I think that's a very, very good question. What becomes, is that the nature of boys to be? Is that a response to the social norm? Where does that social norm come from? You know what I'm saying? Where's the genesis of that type of ideology?
Nature of capitalism.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into that conversation. We are joined by Brandon Alexander Williams. My name is Herb. His name is This is I Said What I Said. We'll be here till 6. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button. Smash that share button. And continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios.
Hey, I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears for Chicago. I pray we don't get lost in all our sorrow. I say I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears for Chicago. We don't know if we gon' let us see tomorrow. No. 52 wounded, 10 murdered in a weekend. Homicides on women are increasing. 12 blinking at us for no reason. Feel like we going off the deep end. They still ain't found Kierico. Reported missing about a year ago. And she was pregnant with a little one. Her family praying for a miracle. Taxi being Kanika ain't get no justice. Where the energy they have for Jussie Smollett. I done heard every theory, but where the suspect? Ain't no luck, yeah. I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears for Chicago. I pray we don't get lost in all our sorrow. I say I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears for Chicago. We don't know if we gon' let us see tomorrow. No. Woman found dead, baby cut out of a womb. I wish it wasn't true. Another woman shot down while her baby in her arms. Can somebody call a truce? This is genocide, honestly. We still remember Tyshawn Lee. I'm implementing new policies. Trying to save the generation under me. We gotta drop the sticks and put the poles up. Your man is a weapon, you need to load up. I couldn't imagine losing one of my daughters.
Don't shoot, I wanna glow up. I'm crying real Chicago. I pray we don't get lost in all our sorrow. I say I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears. I'm crying real tears for Chicago. We don't know if we gon' live to see tomorrow. No.
And we are back, family. We are live from the beautiful What Is In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. We are absolutely thrilled to be joined by one of a kind spoken word artist, a wordsmith of the highest order. His name is Brandon Alexander Williams. Got to take a quick minute to say what's up to my good brother, Ron Rilla, in the production studio doing all of the hard work. Ron, what's the word, man?
What's going on, y'all?
You enjoying the show today or what?
I really am because I know the guy that y'all talking to. That's all. And I don't want to say no, but I've met. So I just wanted to ask you.
Is your camera up in there?
What's going on, Brandon?
What's good? I can't see his camera. I can hear him, though.
Yeah, it ain't on. If he turned it on, I'll put him on the camera. But we trying not to hurt nobody's eyes anyway, so it's cool. Leave it off. But go ahead and talk to the brother real quick, man. Say what you got to say.
Nah, but do you remember doing an interview a couple years back in Chicago State?
Yes.
Yeah, with it was a guy named Ron Rilla, the co-host of Latrina. So I
Latrina,
remember
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, remember Latrina.
Just third person and stuff like that.
Just third person.
But I'm just so you can know who I am. So I remember you talking about like being a village, you know, and it was some words that you had said that had stuck with me that relates to this
What was
conversation.
the words, Ron?
Just to acknowledge.
Why you be trying to put him on the spot like that? You so ignorant.
It was about acknowledgement. And just as a village acknowledging everybody, like even the homeless people. So to this day, he said when he sees a homeless person, even if he doesn't have like change for them, he still tells them like, "Yo, I acknowledge your presence." And he speaks to every homeless person. And it stuck with me because I to this day still do that. And I still every time a homeless person
All this time you've been around us, has any of our words with you, Ron?
Yeah, all the time.
Let's name something. Give us something.
No, don't put him on the spot.
Pushback.
Listen, ain't nobody got time for Ron.
That's the highly favored family.
Oh, you so full of shit.
Listen, man. Listen, man. I gotta let the good brother Brandon bounce in a couple of minutes, man. So let me go ahead and send it back to him so he can come through with any things he want to say before we get on up out of here, man. First of all, thanks for dropping the piece. We appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for sharing the book with us too, man. Let the people know again where they can get the book and also how they can go about receiving their today only $10 discount.
Word. So once again, this is called the Black Love Mixtape. Me and 72 brothers from across the country put together poems, songs, and raps dedicated to uplifting the Black woman. On every page, it's the blackest book in the universe, right? The pages are black or white ink, right? You scan the page, scan the QR code, and it takes you to a private playlist of that artist spit in that piece. It's an audio book built into the physical book. All right. So like I said, this joint is like several date nights in one. And a couple of cats in the book, LaRoyce Hawkins, Jay Ivy, Doma T Pongo, a lot of people, man. It's really dope. It's really dope.
Nah, super fire, man. Y'all make sure y'all go out to get the book. You can text #RedBook to 4055-857325 to get $10 off of an autographed copy of the Black Love Mixtape. There you can see it on the screen. The artwork is phenomenal, man. Check out Brandon Alexander. Just follow him anyway. He's a real creative dude. A lot of dope pieces, visuals. The piece with the flowers, where did that come from? Because you created that, but now that you've done it, believe it or not, I've seen it in a lot of different places now. People have been hijacking that kind of concept a lot lately. With sticking the flowers in it. Where did that come from?
Man, honestly, I had seen an image of on the internet of brothers with flowers in their beard, and so I was like, I want to do a photo shoot with it. And so actually, the same brother who did the photo shoot for this cover, Brian Freeman, I flew him out to Chicago and we shot it under the beam. And then my niece, Caitlin, she cut up some flowers. Like we grabbed some flowers and she just put them in my beard. And then he made some magic happen. It was an overcast day. So any photographers out there, they know what's up. Anytime you want some photos done, if it's overcast, that's basically puts a filter on the light that is the sun. So you ain't got to worry about, a certain angle or anything like that. Your picture's going to always come out super dope on an overcast day. And so, yeah, that's how that came about, man. And then of course it turned into, it grew legs, so I've had people draw pictures of it and reproduce it and everything like that. And so even this image is there's a place in Oakland, California called Black Girls Greenhouse, and they remade a mural of this, but in green. And so I'm just thankful to just have art that's growing legs, man. And I appreciate you guys having me on the show, man.
Absolute honor and pleasure, brother. Thank you for taking the time. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, at Instagram, at Brandon Alexander Williams is just my full name, Brandon Alexander Williams. By the time you type in Brandon AL, you'll start seeing, you know what I'm saying, me show up, populate in the search bar. But that's pretty much it, man. Instagram is where the money resides right now.
Right.
But yeah.
That's what's up, brother. Well, again, we appreciate you taking the time, man. When you're back up in the city, man, you got to come through the studio and hang out with us, man. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Look forward to doing it again sometime soon, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yo, you wanted me to do that 50-50, huh?
Oh,
do the 50-50, man.
If you don't mind,
I do the end part.
Because I like 50-50.
I do the end part. Let me see. Here, I'll do the whole thing. Here we go. That way it's gonna start up y'all conversation. Here we go. I say, she say it's 50-50. I say, no, you don't get me. I give you all I have, and when you pull out, I feel empty. You walk around here like you don't know your butt stank. You push me in the street when the bus came. Took off like a Mustang. Left me naked while you have asked. I still turned the other cheek without complaining about one thing. See, cause my love ain't cheap and you must ain't meet a king, only them so-called ballers that pump fake. And you jumped, hey, reaching for something. Now you finna crash going down in one way. Cause you want it one way. So now you sit at home just alone, bitch and moan with your home sister, cause misery loves to kick it strong. And she listens on when she leaves, you get your phone drunk, texting and dialing me, confessing that the shit was wrong. Your mind drifting on, sitting, posting pictures on Instagram with a dude that look just like me, man. He just a clone and a rebound. Probably in it just a bone, break up with you just to go to come around and get some more. Baby girl, who told you this was wrong? Relationships should be reciprocal, very intentional, not stereotypical or parody fictional. And no individual living person is perfect, so there will be friction, teamwork, addition, and some division, though. The mother of learning is repetition, so no, if you slack on your giving, you'll always be hypocritical, insecure, because you know you could be giving more. She like, you always get the answer, don't you? Blase, skip back, this, that. I bet if I was a gig, you wouldn't miss that. And it's odd to me. Since I'm not your boss, I can't possibly get some reciprocity. I'm like, you mean the world to me, babe, but you don't pay my bills. So while I'm on this grind, just be patient and chill. I'm trying to make a meal. So let's go make a meal, eat, and talk about the future, how to make a way and still be caught in the allure. Relationships take work, but it should not be a chore. Much more than perk. It took my mama and my papa 9 months to create a player. She want a real life video game creative player. Love and trust, she can have all that. She still want to condition me under the Pavlov Act. Want me to do what she want me to do. Pop quiz and think I better score 102, but that's too much to ask. I can't be giving that shit. She wants my forethought and thought to have a feminine twist. I'm a male, different chromosome, just a guy. That's why my questions for your methods, they come with an extra Y. I'm sad I miss you. I'm done grabbing tissues, but almost all of my exes had daddy issues. And if you ain't got respect for your papa, it's hard to find respect for me, mama. Had to say bye-bye. When expectations don't meet reality, you got a problem. This math don't add up. 50-50. I don't want half or nothing, and you shouldn't either. It's supposed to be 100-100. I mean, if you lacking, I pick up where you slacking. You can mistake a cup for half empty or half full, but if you give your all, you could walk away with no regrets. Pissed off nonetheless, but you know that you done all you could. The other person just wasn't ready to get it. And double dutch, the rope can't swing if your whole body ain't in it. You gotta jump together. Both risking getting whipped by the rope, but when we do, I'll lick your wounds and you'll put honey on my cuts. If you laugh about the day we took jumping rope to another level. Redefine comfort levels, join forces and fought other devils together. I'm not interested in 50-50. Standing with one foot in, never jumping, rope steady slapping us in the arm, leg, neck, head, and we wondering why it's not working, why it's not turning. You don't complete me, you compliment me. God ain't make no half people. I'm already 100, and so are you. Red book, y'all. Red book, y'all.
Shit hard right there.
That is that piece. His name is Brandon Alexander Williams. You can find him on Instagram at Brandon Alexander Williams. Y'all make sure y'all go cop the book. B, appreciate you, my brother. Y'all gonna stop coming to SIUC. We create nothing but greatness, man. Another dog in the building. We had T Murph on the show earlier this week. Another dog in the building.
That's my man.
I'm a dog. Like, y'all gonna stop coming to SIUC like we not producing greatness out here, because we absolutely are, man. Go Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, hey, send me a Cash App request for all them curse words I did. I think I got about 5 or 6 off.
All right, man. Hey, $ Herb Howard, just send it to me. We'll put it in the jar. I'll make sure it gets in there, and it will be going. We thinking about either sending it to good sister Emerald Green, of course you know M, who does the sandwich ministry over at the Woodline. So they be handing out food in lunch bags. So we're going to either get her the money or we're going to give it to TJ Crawford, who puts together Black Culture Week here in Chicago. So it'll be going to one of those two places, or maybe a combination thereof. But just $ Herb Howard if you want to send whatever, and we'll definitely make sure it gets in the jar and goes straight to one of those organizations, man.
Peace, man. Appreciate you.
Peace,
nice to meet you
good.
too.
You too, famo.
That is Brandon Alexander Williams. That brother is an absolute gem. Dropping knowledge, man. We ain't getting to the Professor Williams piece, but he does teach a rhythm and poetry class. I want to say it's an online course. Well, not even online, at the University of Iowa. So we'll get into that piece next time we talk to him. But yeah, dope dude, man.
You gotta get him another time when he got some real time to get into the conversation part of the relationship context.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope though. He's a dope poet, man. Super dope.
Nah, he
I'm a fan. I'm gonna go check him out later on this evening.
Yeah, he fire on that piece, man. He really is. What'd you think about the first poem though?
I like both poems. I think they're amazing poems, right? But just like all artists, it's there to be critiqued. So I said what I said. You know what I mean? I get it in context, and it really goes back to everything that we always talk about. It's just building community. You know what I mean? So I'm out there with the munchies and whomever for that purpose. But in regards to like my daughter, I'm not confused about it. Right, Munchie won't reach her radar if daddy is who daddy's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But in regards to my son, daddy could be all he could be. But if mommy don't reach her radar, he will take advantage of women. It's just part of the game. You know what I mean? Your parents are your first reflection of God. Yeah. Right? And that feminine and that masculine energy balance each other off. Yeah. So him being born male come with that masculine energy. Yeah. If it's not complemented, like that last part of that poem, by that feminine energy, with that woman, he's going to do women differently because he's going to be looking for some level of fulfillment that he felt like he's missing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just heard somebody the other day ask about, can a single parent household raise a complete child? I know we always think we got the answer, but I do believe that it's a struggle because it is that feminine and that masculine energy that creates the presence of God. And when the presence of God ain't there, as a human being, you're going to be looking for God. Just is what it is.
That's a real thing, man. I appreciate the thought process of having a daughter and wanting her dating pool to be as vast and as healthy as possible, right? So to try and do your part to make sure there are as many healthy prospects in that pool as possible, I think is the idea there in terms of pouring into those young men so that they can be healthy options for your daughter when she becomes of age. You know what I mean?
Back to kind of how Beach broke that sacrifice. Why my mic keep going out? Where's Ron?
Because Ron is in the building. That's why.
But back to that. Yo, what's going on here, man?
I hear you just fine, to be honest with you. Your headphones are going out. Your mic isn't going out.
The mic.
Oh, it keeps going out of
your head.
This is weird as hell.
It's your headphones, and it's probably.
But it's throwing me off.
Yeah, I believe it.
But my point is what I'm saying is like to the point what the B said the other day about sacrifice, because we have this connotation that we're making this sacrifice. Yeah. But that's only because we put in the false value asset in the first place, right? So in regards to like creating a dating pool for my daughter, that's not how I view it at all. I'm creating a whole woman. I don't got shit to do with her dating pool. Those are gonna be her choices. My job is to input everything I can into her to make her whole. She'll make those choices. Same thing with my son, right? And to the point of every relationship is a mirror. Sometimes you need those incomplete people to fulfill your own journey, to complete your own journey. Yeah. So I'm not here to make you whole. You're here to make you whole. That's your journey, right? I'm only here to impute into you what I can, and that's to provide some level of coaching to put you on the right path. That's all.
No, I dig that. You definitely want to just make sure that your daughter can be as healthy and as whole of a person that she could possibly be, and then allow her to make those decisions. But I see immense value in there being healthy prospects to choose from. You know what I mean?
But in order to do that, we gotta have healthy communities, healthy ideas, healthy understandings, right? And see, we look, and this is my other pushback, which is not just about the poet, but about how we approach the conversation. We always look to fix the children. How does a broken person fix a child? Because if you're broken at your level of completion, all you can create is another broken person. Which is why my argument is always we must fight the system that creates us or forces us into this brokenness. You know what I mean?
But the idea is that it's easier to raise a whole child than it is to repair a broken adult.
Only if you have an understanding of what whole is. Right? And the very narrative of the maze that we are in keeps us ending up at a goal of being broken. The finish line is broken. Right? So we got to reevaluate the finish line. So you right. It is easier to raise healthy children than it is to raise to change broken adults.
Right.
But the concept itself is broken, which is creating the broken adults that we have. So even at your best, you ain't your best. So how you gonna give them your best?
Right.
It's an impossibility.
Right.
It's an oxymoron.
Right.
That's all. That's my total argument.
It's a false door, right? You think this is the end,
You
but
think
there's
this is
really
right.
way more beyond that.
It's why capitalism and aspiration, specifically from our perspective, is so powerful because we think the key point in making someone whole is material. If you got the right car, if you got the right address, if you got the right label clothes on, you're whole. That's why we aspire to capital.
And you're not.
Right? That's why we value the people we value.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that don't, it's just like B said, that's not the intrinsic value.
Yeah. When we get the opportunity, we try to carpool.
We're gonna buy away the wholeness.
Yeah. When we get the opportunity, we try to carpool and come here together because we coming from the same place and going back in the same direction. And so yesterday we was not yesterday, I don't know. One day this week we was together, and as we was going back, I was telling you, and I'm like, yo, I was like, you really starting to piss me off about how I listen to my music. Like, I be by myself, vibing out to my own music, and then your ass just pop up in my head. Let me come with $1. You just pop up in my head like, oh, see, that's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that BS. And the song that did it to me, it was an old Drake song. Because, as a matter of fact, me and Lil Ron was in here, whatever day that was, talking about that Drake and Future album, whatever it was called. And then I'm listening to, I've been listening to that album this week because it's a fire album. But one of the lines on the song, Drake was like, I'm turning into a nigga that thinks about money and women like 24/7. That's what my life took me. That's just happened to go. And I was like, that line is fire. But I'm like, dang, I'm turning into a dude who thinks about money and women 24/7. That's not cool. Two wouldn't approve.
That's wasteful. But I've been there too. You know what I mean? It's a process, and I told you.
And I don't even think like that. I think about like liberation of women like 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like, just money just enough to continue liberation.
But it just matters on your perspective. Because most people think liberation is money.
Yeah. And we know that's not the case. See Bill Cosby or others.
It depends on perspective. Mm-hmm. I listened to Nip on the way here. I was just telling you that, right?
Neighborhood
Nip. Line, and it was in the Crenshaw album. He was like, get you some money, you're going to feel different. But that's only because you don't feel whole without it. Breathing oxygen gives you the ability to feel whole, brother. God chose you. You know how many sperms you beat to get here? You special already.
I got a joke. I'll tell you in a minute. But J. Cole he got that song Middle Child, which we've been referring to a little bit lately. Anyway, just talking about dead in the middle of two generations. I'm Lil Bro and Big Bro all at once. In that same song, he's talking about how he is receptive to the young rappers coming into the game. While a lot of older rappers kind of hate on them and shun them, whether you like their music or not, you don't have to hate on them and shun them, right? And he's like, nah, I love you little dudes. I'm glad that you came. And then he said, I hope you know money won't erase the pain. You know what I'm saying? Like know that piece, though. Like,
it won't.
Don't think that, okay, I'm signed now, I'm in the game, I done got my first
What's
check.
The little dude that got the diamond put in his forehead yesterday?
That's not a healthy thing to do.
He ain't healthy, bro.
Can't be. Even if you do have $24 million, that's what it costs, and I don't know that it did. But even if you do, and that's what you spent it on, you're not healthy, sir. Something is off here.
But I think it's interesting, though.
He said he was financing it for like 7 years. He was financing.
How stupid is that? You're gonna finance.
You read an article on that, didn't you?
Yeah, because he
was
wants
intrigued
one.
by that.
He wants one.
I mean, he came across.
I'm gonna throw this thing through the glass.
Hell no.
You want one?
Hell no. I don't want nothing on my face.
He's like, I might not get the pink one. I might get the green one.
I did read the article.
You know we might do that.
I'm gonna say, I did read the article. If I should be ashamed,
get a periwinkle
if I should be
one.
ashamed, I did read the article. That's what I was saying.
No, you shouldn't be ashamed of reading the article.
I read the article. He said he financed it for like 7 years.
He's a fool.
Idiot.
But it ain't about the money or the diamond. It's about his lack of worth. That's it. The only reason you would do that, Ron, same reason people buy big rims for their whip. Because you lack value somewhere, you want somebody to pay you attention. So we sacrifice real value for attention. That's all that is, man. That's it. If I got this Gucci belt logo,
yeah,
Right?
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I told my son one time, right? My son, he's borderline sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, his 8th grade year, I had him riding the train to school. His school was over there by Cabrini, and some of the low riders still there. So he got to walk past the low riders to get to school every day. So I'm telling him, because I know he ain't built a certain kind of way, say, hey, man, if you were smart, I know the low riders is the shortcut, but you might want to take the long way.
You might want to come past and walk back down.
And walk back around, just because I know you ain't really accustomed to
Somebody going to try you, and I don't know if you know how to respond to that try.
Light-skinned, curly head
Somebody's
dude,
going to try
really built, you ain't from around, somebody's
going to
try
you.
Go the long way, cuz.
Somebody's going to try you. It just is what it is.
Go the long way, right? You got on the Nike Vortex coat, you this, that, and the third. So he goes to his cousin's
They know
house.
you're going to that school over there.
Right. So he goes to his cousin's house.
The one they can't go to.
Right. So he goes to his cousin's house one weekend, and my brother-in-law always goes to the flea market to get all kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So he must have found a fake Gucci belt.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It was the whole Gucci belt. So I didn't even recognize this. I don't pay nothing attention to what he wearing.
All right.
One day he come in the crib and he got this Gucci belt on. I'm looking at him. He got a Gucci belt. He got the Nike Vortex jacket.
Hey, out here, man.
He got on some Jordans, some high price Jordans, and $1,000 iPhone. Mm-hmm. And I said, boy, you look like a
like a Vic out here. A whole,
that's all you is.
Walking lick.
You a walking lick. Can't fight to save your life. Ain't paying attention. Your headphones on,
Oblivious.
But it's also somebody will see you. And what you don't understand is the people who going to see you ain't seeing you. Mm-hmm. They seeing those things. Mm-hmm. They don't care nothing about you.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
And
because they lack value, they want those things.
Yeah. And you are not valuable enough for me to not go get that thing.
It's that simple.
I don't value you like that.
And that's the reason you went. I said, did that make you feel good? That make you feel like something? What did that Gucci belt do for you? It ain't even a real Gucci belt. Like,
so it can't. So that alone tells me it's not even really for you.
All of it. The persona, not even really the idea, and the belt. All of y'all is fake. Get over it, bro. You hold because you here. That's it. That's it.
No, I dig it.
But that's a lesson. It takes a lot of us a very long time to learn.
It takes a very, very long time to learn. It takes a long time to just unlearn all the stuff that we used to, the things that we've become accustomed to. And so even as a reasonably educated, relatively intelligent dude, I still rock.
We all do.
Because you know what I'm saying? I still want every J that I want. And I've come to the conclusion that I only like 8 through 12.
But it's to the point of this is how America is socialized. This is why capitalism works. Right? Think about this. Right? Private industry spends more money on marketing than they do in creating product.
Oh, of course.
Right? You know why?
Because the product don't matter. It's just do you want it or not?
That's it. Right? And for capitalism to work, they have to have a new product every day. That's it. It has to be a gluttonous idea. Yeah. Because when you get to the core of human existence, all you need is a few things. Right? You need food, clothing, and shelter. That's it. If I really was just and this is in 2021 with our own gluttonous kind of attitudes, right? If I ain't had nowhere to go, on average, I could wear 3 pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt for the entire year. I'm not doing that much work to where it would damage them.
Dead ass.
3 pair of sweatpants and hoodies for the whole year. Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't need no more than 3 outfits for an entire year.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Shoes, maybe 2 pair at best.
Right.
And that's only because we live in snowy weather conditions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if that's the case of necessity, and I'm gluttonous just like the rest of us. Like I look at my closet, I'm appalled at myself, I'm not gonna lie. Right?
Bro, I
can't walk in my closet because of shoebox.
How many exclusive you have found at least 2 pair of exclusive J's in your house this year? Not this year, the last calendar year.
Ridiculous. It's retarded. I'm not saying I'm no better than nobody else. I've been socialized by the same system. But I know it's foolish. Right? And it took me 45 years to get here, and I still do stupid shit.
Oh, I'm still gonna rock. I'm still gonna rock the 8. Anytime 8s, 9s, or 10s, 11s, or 12s come out, I'm getting them.
But it's just interesting for me to look back because I'm getting a chance to see this through the lens of my son and through the lens of my daughter. I'm like, man, this is so stupid.
D. Millie, what's going on, Queen? I missed BOD.
This is so stupid, but that's the way capitalism works. You need new stuff, and not only do you need new stuff, but you need to feed the public that they're not valuable until they get new stuff, right? So it's a concept that we're all socialized into, and it's easy to look at the show and say, "Oh, look at the Gucci belt goofy, or the big rim goofy, or yada yada yada." But it is the entirety of the construct, So the dude that lives in the penthouse downtown, it's the same philosophy, right? What makes that penthouse where it has less space and it's high up and you're on top of people more valuable than the crib in Inglewood where you actually got a yard in your own land?
Oh, yeah.
Logically, no, it don't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. And so every time I'm hanging out with like one of my friends who live downtown, and not a knock on you if that's what you want to do, right? If that is where you want to live, and maybe it's more convenient for you to get to work or whatever you want to tell yourself about why you choose to live downtown in a place that offers you a quarter of the space for 4 times the price, do your thing, right? Just understand that the value that you're placing on your address versus the value that you're placing on space even.
When COVID hit, it made me realize.
Now, if you live down there, you got some big space, dope. But I'm talking about I walk in your joint and I'm through the whole thing the minute I step in, and I know what rent is in this joint. Like, wilding right now.
When COVID hit, G, it really made me realize how much money I trick off. Because now I ain't going nowhere. I was like, man, I'm getting money.
Look at me.
I'm really
balling on
I'm balling out here, G. And I was like, wait a minute, how come I'm getting so much money? It don't make sense. I just wasn't spending nothing. I didn't have no need to spend no money.
It just
made
sit there and add up.
it real that you really don't have no need to spend no money beyond the necessity in the first place.
Oh, you know how you can tell that lesson even when you're not in a pandemic? It is the difference between when you first get paid, right? You first get a check for whatever you do to get checks or bags of money, whatever. When you first get your bag versus right before you get your next bag, how you act is so different. When you first get your bag, say you get paid on like today Friday, say it's a payday for you. You finna this weekend splurge city. We out here cashing out this weekend. Yeah, buy that. It's on me. Bop 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 bop. When you get down to like your last 100 though, the way you act with your last 100 is the way you could act even when it was racks on racks on racks. Because when you get to your last 100, bro, you are so strategic about how you spend your money. You are so frugal about, I ain't paying, I only need this much of that. I only need this much of that. And I got food at home. Now you got food at home. 2 weeks ago, food at home wasn't even a thing. You know what I'm saying? We out here splurging that. But when you get down to that last 100, the way you act with that last 100 is how you should act when the whole 2 bands came in.
But the data says we produce more garbage per day. We produce 7 times more garbage per day than the entirety of the rest of the world. Americans produce 7 times more garbage.
We wasteful like that, fam.
Right. So if we're throwing it away, whatever it is, 7 times more than the rest of the world, it's not a necessity. And don't think that doesn't spill over into how we treat other people too.
Oh, absolutely.
It just does.
It's kind of just how we move, bro. It ain't right. It certainly is reality. That's just kind of, how we move.
But who creates the reality? The people.
Exactly.
So even when we talk about systems, right? Systems aren't living organisms. They're people who run these systems.
Yeah.
Right? So in essence, inherently, we can change anything. We can change how we treat people. We can change those systems. But we find, because of how we socialize, we have the tendency to not see beyond the barriers that we've created for ourselves. These are barriers that are self-imposed. But we don't have the freedom and thought to move beyond the barriers that we have self-imposed. That's insanity.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
That is insanity. But we kind of move as though we don't have a choice. But it's that horse tied up to a plastic chair analogy, right? You leave him tied up long enough, you can hook him up to anything. It don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? After a while, he don't think he can go no further than this. And so he's going to stand right here whether he change up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It don't matter.
And we're living that.
Yeah.
We're in that life cycle.
Yeah. We live that way all the time. And when people operate outside of that, we look at them like, what's wrong with them? They tripping.
But think about that, right? And then think about, if that's the case, think about the narratives that we hear and how they kind of like colloquialisms at that point. Even when I push back on, what's the brother's Brandon Alexander's first poem? Because it's easy to always say, like in that poem, whether he meant to or not, cognitively what he says is that he was talking to his homie. His homie was raising a daughter. his homie was afraid of the kind of men that his daughter was going to encounter, which puts a blanketed moniker on men that we're inherently bad.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it absolves anybody else in the conversation. And there's only two people in that conversation.
Right.
Men and women.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It completely absolves the other party.
Nobody else want to take
Nobody gets to take blame. That's why we understand that. What's the word I was telling you about? I can't even think of the name of the word myself at this point. When I asked you, what's the word used for when women hate men? I can't even remember the name of the word. I didn't forget my damn self.
Misandry.
Misandry. Misandry. That's why that's not a part of the popularized lexicon. Because even in our colloquialism, in our regular tone, in our regular conversation, we've absolved the woman of the responsibility. And that's what my pushback was. Like, how I treated women was a direct reflection of what I was lacking from my mama. It just is what it is. You know, but those are conversations that we got to really have. And I think, you know, at least that's my goal. I'm glad my man came on today. I'm a fan of his poetry, but I wanted to have a more in-depth conversation with him, not necessarily about his works, but about his thought process, you know. And I think that we'd had an opportunity to dive deeper into why his projection and why he wrote that poem in that manner kind of absolves the woman responsibility, even in regards to how she's raising her boys. Because I think that is the most universal reflection of how he's going to treat a woman, not his daddy.
Yeah, no, that's general. I mean, a son's relationship with his mother is critical to how he is going to then grow up and interact with women, just like a daughter's relationship with her father is very important as to how she's going to grow up and interact with men. I think that we got to understand that and, you know, raise them accordingly. But I still think there are other things that we can do to try and ensure the overall health of the child, but also the community that they're growing up in, because that's going to impact them and influence the decisions that they make as well. And so I think that it's, again, like we always say, it's a both and thing. And it's, again, never the best way to fight a war to have to do it on multiple fronts, but that is the position that we find ourselves in. So while I'm raising mine in my home, it is also best practice for me to be simultaneously doing everything I can to pour into those that are outside of my home, because that is what's best for the collective. That is what's best for the greater good. And so, and when you pour into them, you get to see those results. And so you start with the small things, just like Brandon was saying today, just speaking to him, just like Brian was saying yesterday, speaking to him, or creating opportunities for them to see themselves as valuable or see their communities as valuable, whether that's, you know, cutting the grass and those types of things. No, it's just about investing in community. Don't be so caught up in your individual pursuit of the bag and placing the value of the bag above everything else to where you just, throw these kids to the side. That don't really matter. It does matter. Don't be so caught up into it that you walking past people without speaking. That's your neighbor. How you walking down my block? I'm gonna walk right past you and either cut my eyes at you or look away or find a reason to look down or act like I see you personally and I recognize you as me. What's happening? How you feeling? And those small gestures will go a long way.
Gino said I gave away over 20 pair of good kicks last year. Certain things have become less important to me. I'm always stay fresh, but that cutting is gone.
Damn it.
It just made me think about Gino got me a pair of J's like maybe 2 years ago. I just thought about it just because he said this, right? Some exclusive kicks. Him and T was doing something with Nike. And I was like, man, grab me some of them kicks. Real life. I looked at them in the box. I've never taken them out the box ever. And I don't even know where they are right now.
See, Gino, that's why you don't. See,
totally
Gino. See, Gino. How that make you feel, G? How that make you feel?
They in my house somewhere. I know they in my house.
How does that make you feel, G?
That's ridiculous.
You get this man some fresh, crispy kicks. He ain't seen them since. It's ridiculous. Should have gave them to me.
They definitely in my house somewhere.
Yeah, sure they are. It's ridiculous. You're gonna
definitely are.
Find them somewhere long from now, just like you forgot about whatever J's you found a couple months ago. Just like you forgot about a trunk.
I didn't forget about those. I just couldn't find them.
You forgot about a trunk full of Christmas gifts for a year, sir.
What they was, you know.
It is what it is. Now your point is well made and well received. I'm just giving you a hard time, man. You know, we all are guilty. We all are guilty, and we need to see.
They was autographed
can't
too.
believe
That's true. They are autographed.
I can't believe how much you don't the you chewing those nuts doesn't bother you. I can't.
bothers you?
Hell yeah, it
Why
bothers
does it
me.
bother you?
Because it's in my ear.
Oh well, take the headphones off.
What is that mean? If it's in my ear, it's in everybody else's ear. What's wrong with you, man? Who raised you?
Man, stop complaining.
Raised by wolves, man. Just chewing peanuts in everybody's ear in the middle of your show.
Find solace in just the moment. Just appreciate.
I'm
the
trying
moment.
to. My sauce was disturbed by an elephant.
I can't disturb your solace. This
Yes,
is my solace.
you can. Yes, you absolutely can, man. Golly, I don't know where you come from, man.
Gene said them shoes was autographed too. I got they in the house, Gene. I ain't losing. They in the house. I know they're in the house. I just got it. They somewhere in maybe the downstairs closet.
Man, you are absolutely hilarious, man. Listen, told you all that we were going to have I know, Don, something's wrong with the boy, man. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing I do like. I like when ghetto girls chew gum. Like how they chew out the side of their mouth like this. That, love it. I don't know why that's appealing to me, but I like it.
Okay.
You don't want to co-sign that?
Got nothing to do with me. That's your solace.
You don't want
I'm over here
to
myself.
co-sign how
I'm
ghetto
behind the
girls chew
glass.
gum?
You know what I'm saying?
You know how they make that little pop of the gum? Like they don't blow a big bowl. They make the little pop that stay in their mouth. That one. Ugh. I don't know why I like it, but I do. Anyhow, told y'all that we wanted to have a conversation. It is Relationship Friday, so we touched a little bit on relationships when we were talking to Brandon Alexander Williams, and now we are going to be speaking to Josana. I was scrolling through something and I saw this young lady posting about the fact that, or at least the concept or belief or the conversation about how often women have sex when they do not want to. And I have no opinion on this because I do not know, right? I've never been in a woman's head like I've never been in a woman's head like that to be like, I don't know that she's having sex, but she don't really want to. You know what I mean? Can you see me?
I got questions.
I got questions for sure. I don't really have a real opinion about it, but I'm very, very curious as to what the women that are tuned in to the show
already talking about for real
on Facebook. I think Don might be talking about something else. I'm very curious to know about the women that are tuned in on Facebook, women that are tuned in on YouTube, how y'all feel about this. But
RO Double say that's sad. Hey, real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Shout out to RO Double. We did get that 20 for the cuss fund.
Hey, appreciate you, RO Double.
40. That's a whole next week. That's all we doing next week.
Is the 40 that came
40
from?
To cuss. We got 40 cusses to go.
Because RO Double just sent us a dub, and Howard sent us a dub, right?
We got 40 cusses all next week.
So we got $40 for the cussing fund next week.
We would be disrespecting the elders if we go past 40 in the week.
Would it? Wouldn't the ancestors be happy that we was contributing to a good cause?
By disrespecting them? No. that's like the Charleston White conversation around rap music. You know what I mean? Some of them rappers is, they give money to charity, but they doing it destroying communities. We can't do that.
She said no, that too. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our guest. Her name is Josana. She is a friend of mine that I've known for a long time, actually. And I came across a thing, and I just hit her up, and I'm like, you want to talk about that on our show on Relationship Friday? And she said, yeah, I'm down with that. So, Josana, welcome to I Said What I Said. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. How are you?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We are excellent. We are excellent. So, I came across your post, and I thought it was very, very intriguing, and I thought it would be a conversation worth having. Here on I Said What I Said, every Friday we talk about relationships, and we talk about them because we feel like it is necessary for us to get this foundational piece of our community in terms of the relationship specifically between black men and women. If we get that piece in order, or at least we feel like that's the first thing we need to get in order before we can build everything else on top of it. So you talk about business, agriculture, education, whatever else it may be. Until we get that foundational piece right, we think that we'll struggle to maximize in those other areas. So that is why we have the conversation every Friday. It tends to be pretty entertaining as well, but we try to make it of substance also. And so when I saw that, I was like, well, let me see if she want to come on. And he was like, yeah, I'll come on and have the conversation. What was the I kind of want to say thought process, but I understand it's very self-explanatory. Just explain it to me what you meant when you were talking about how often women have sex, even when they may not want to.
Okay, so women being like pressured to have sex or following through with an obligation to have sex happens pretty often. Like, because oftentimes we may get into situations where we feel like we're expected to have sex, and then we're kind of like trying to avoid the backlash or the repercussions of like not following through with it. So like, the meme said something about like, ask how many women have had unwanted sex pretty much out of either fear or because it had maybe already kind of started and they tried to stop and the person wouldn't stop and they just like, forget it, let me just get it over with. Like it's a real thought process that women go through. I have had some unwanted sexual experiences in my life from the time I lost my virginity up until the time my child was conceived. So yeah, a lot of different instances of that happening.
So what oh my God, what does that look like? What do some of those situations look like where you feel obligated to have sex with somebody? What are the dynamics of those relationships? Are we talking like what are some of the examples you can give us? Are we talking about like somebody in a long-term committed relationship? Are we talking about not feeling safe with the new partner? Like what are some of the examples that you can give where you feel like women find themselves in that position?
It could be on either end of the spectrum. Like I think the most like used example is like somebody like hanging out or kicking it with somebody for the first time or going to somebody's house or something of that nature. And then you're just hanging it out and you're kicking it. And it's almost like, okay, the expectation is that it's going to happen maybe because you're attracted to the person or the person is attracted to you, or maybe you guys have shown affection toward each other or something of that nature. And it's like, I think that where it's kind of starts off maybe like in adolescence, but like when you're a kid, you don't know anything about expectation. You just like, oh, I might like this boy and I just want to hang out with him or whatever. And then it kind of like gets into that realm of like, okay, I'm trying to go to the next level, and you just do it out of pressure or because you just don't want to be rejected or just, because like you said, you may not feel safe. You may just feel like, okay, if I don't do this, something might happen to me. Up and including relationships. Like I think that people feel that because you're in a relationship with somebody, you're obligated to have sex with them on demand, and that is incorrect. Because sometimes you just may not feel like it, or you may have something going on physically, mentally, spiritually, and I feel like that sometimes women feel as though like, oh well, this is my man or this is my husband or this is the person I'm with, so I owe him sex or I'm obligated to give it to him. But that's not true either.
So
women shouldn't be made to feel like that.
I know a lot of times we paint with a broad brush, right? And I think this conversation is kind of broad brush painting. And I'm not a woman, right? But I'm just looking at the comments roll.
You know how I know you gay.
And it's a bunch of comments saying, nah, that's not really it. Nah, it could be immaturity. Nah, it could be, it's a bunch of no's. And the comments is moving fairly fast. And these are women responding.
I can't see the comments.
It's all good. So I'm not gonna read them verbatim. I'm just saying what the connotation is, right? And when I hear that, and not to minimize it, but this also brings into play the conversation of the Me Too movement, right? If you remember Aziz, the comedian guy, Aziz caught a case because I don't want to say caught a case, but he got some public backlash because he was dealing with a woman. It started going someplace. And he was with whatever they was gonna do.
Sure.
And then she decided that she didn't want to do that anymore, and she left. And it was all good. He didn't pressure her to do nothing. But then she put out in the media that because he's a comedian or because I don't remember the story, so I'm not gonna state it verbatim. But what it really breaks down to me is that she felt because of his stature, she was supposed to do something, right? He don't have no responsibility in his stature.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a decision the woman has to make.
Okay.
That's a level of maturity in that woman. That's a level of self-esteem in that woman. For me. You know what I mean? So even if it's like I feel pressured, why do you feel pressured? Is that internal? Going back to that conversation about relationships.
You're saying, has there been an actual threat made against your safety?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Or you assuming this? You know what I mean? I'm not. Again, this is such a.
It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. I'm just trying to have the dialogue.
Josana?
Okay, so there are going to be several different situations. Everybody's situation not going to be the same. So like you were saying, some women in the comments were saying like, oh, that's incorrect, that's not like that. For their sexual lives and their sexual experiences, that might not be the case. But for some women it is. But you touched on maturity, and that's why I kind of said a little while ago like that some of this kind of starts in adolescence. It very well could be childhood sexual traumas. It very well could be something that happened in your past, and then it just kind of like snowballed into your adulthood. And see, like, I know you were saying it's like a slippery slope, because there's kind of a fine line between like, oh, I had an unwanted sexual experience and somebody raped me, right? Because then that just it kind of like opens a floodgate. But exactly what you just said about the women in the comments, that's the main reason why people don't like talking about these type of issues, because you get victim shamed and you get blamed. Like, now, me personally, right now at this point in my life, I just realized that some of those experiences have helped shape me as a woman. And now I'm trying to go back and just deal with those traumas to correct, myself and my behavior, and heal myself spiritually so that I can move forward. I'm not blaming, any of those men per se. I'm just being able to recognize like, okay, this was a situation where I agreed to do something that I didn't want to do. And it happens in all types of situations. How many times has somebody asked you to do something that you didn't want to do? Can you run me to the store? Can you take me to the airport? Can you do this for me? And you just say yes because you just want to like, okay, fine, whatever, get it over with or whatever. So, I mean, everybody's situation with I had an unwanted sexual experience is going to be different. So, but I do feel like it starts off in with some women, it starts off in their youth, and then they carry it on into adulthood.
I think is absolutely terrible. Like I think that you can kind of sense like somebody like not being fully comfortable in a space with you, in a physical, intimate space with you. I feel like you can kind of sense that. And for me personally, right, I'm never going to, like, for lack of a better term, convince somebody to have sex with me. Like, one, like, and the main reason, and whatever, like, it's a selfish reason. It's gonna be bad. Like, it's not gonna be enjoyable. And
that's true.
Yeah, if you don't want to have sex with me, I don't want to have sex with you either. And I would like to say this from this holy spiritual place. It's really from a place of this is gonna be whack as hell. Like the chemistry is not flowing, right? This isn't a good experience. I don't want to do this at all. You don't want to do it. It's not even gonna be good. So what are we doing that for? So, but I think that you can pick up on that. But I do want to ask you, Josana, what you say you're not blaming per se, right? So then, if it's not a blame thing, you saying okay, you consented to go along with it even though you didn't want to do it. What advice would you give to men about how they can create or aid in creating a safe environment to where the woman, if she doesn't really feel safe or she doesn't really feel like she wants to have sex, she certainly feels safe saying that she doesn't want to? What can men do to aid in that comfort?
I feel like in Inception, when it comes to like being attracted to somebody, right? If you guys are like having like conversations about being sexually active, or if you are together in an environment and then it seems like, that's where the vibe is going, just simply ask her like, are you comfortable? You okay? Are you sure you want to do this right now? We don't got to do this right now. Cause I think it's kind of like one of those things, like sometimes the young lady, she might, she may be sexually attracted to, not saying that she's not attracted to him, anything, like she may be attracted to him. She may even want to go there with him, but she might not want to do it like at that particular time, but she might feel as though like, okay, well, it's happening right now, or this is the mood that's being set, or it's in the moment, or what have you. But just to check in with her and ask her like, hey, how you feeling? You good? You okay? Like, you okay with where this going? You comfortable? And I think that it just kind of opens up a dialogue where she's like, okay, he's being considerate of my feelings, so he's asking, Because because like I said, I've had situations where it was just like, I just was like, I kind of don't want to do this right now. To me, flat out telling somebody to stop and they didn't,
But see, if you tell somebody to stop and they didn't, that creates a different kind of conversation.
Now we have a criminal.
It does
right?
create
That's
right.
right. So in the other capacity though, where you was like, well, men should say, hey, sister, how you feeling about this? I'm with it, right? That's a great.
It should. I hear
That's
you.
in a great,
It's best practice.
Right. Best practices, sensitive guy world. Hey,
Not
we're here, world. We're here. I don't want to make light of it, but
It's fine.
again, it goes back to the level of that's your body.
Right.
You got to be accountable for your body.
Right.
Even to the conversation that we were just having about my daughter.
Right.
My goal is to raise my daughter with enough to be whole, to be confident in her place in this world.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is what I want to do. No, this is not what I want to do, right? So I'm just saying, where's the level of accountability? Like, it's to assume that somebody just made a comment. I'm going to try to find the comment real quick because it made sense to me, but it also puts us against the wall in regards to these kind of conversations because it only kind of, I don't want to say villainizes, but it puts a responsibility in a place that I don't think is necessarily a male's responsibility. I can't find the comment, but it was like, it said something about sexual behavior is so different that you really don't know what you're getting in the bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that a woman could surely be victimized and a man could surely not know he's victimizing the woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so confused.
I feel, and we have that conversation all the time when we talk about whether we're talking about relationships or whether we're talking about, community or black people as a whole inside this American white supremacist construct. Like, when do you cease to become a victim and start to become a volunteer, right? And I think that's a fair question to pose in this particular conversation.
I asked how old the sister was before we started this conversation because I'm 45, right? My wife be harassing the shit out of me, and leave me alone. I feel like a girl at this point in my life.
You asked me how old I was?
No. I was asking her
he asked me, and I gave him a general.
And this is a much more
serious
serious conversation that I thought we was gonna have.
Okay.
Right,
but I'm not. Like I said, every situation is going to be different, and you are absolutely right. The purpose of me coming on here and talking about it is just to verbally say, like, I know what it feels like. I've experienced it because when I put that meme up, so many of my friends, so many people I'm cool with were just in my inbox like, girl, you have no idea. Like, oh my God, like, tell me about it. And I'm just like, Dad, really? Because you wouldn't think that.
How frequently, Josana? Give me a percentage, if you will. Like, out of 10 sexual encounters, how many do you not want to actually have?
It's gonna vary on the person.
Sure, of course it does. I'm asking you though.
You said out of 10 sexual encounters I've had, how many have been unwanted?
Just on average of 10. If you any 10, how many of them are you like?
Okay,
I don't really even want to be here.
I just had to use an example of like, okay, if I've had sex with 10 people my entire life, how many of those experiences are unwanted? Probably maybe like 3 or 4, maybe.
So can we extrapolate that out over the entirety of your sexual experience to say out of every 10 times you've had sex, at least 3 of those times you didn't really want to have sex?
Times and then like instances of like people are different because I can have sex with my boyfriend 10 times.
Yeah, but I thought we were including relationships in this conversation too. So you have sex with your boyfriend 10 times.
Wait,
how many of those do you not even feel like having sex with him?
Okay, but the reason why I brought that up is because someone else said that, yes, I've had that happen in a relationship before. Me personally, I've never had it happen in a relationship where the person I was in a relationship, I felt like forced or, was trying to make me have sex and I didn't want to. But also what I was saying is that it's a maturity thing. So like I encountered it a little bit more when I was probably younger than more so now, because I've grown, I've evolved, I've learned how to speak up for myself. Like the gentleman said, like sometimes it comes from self-esteem issues. Sometimes it could come from foundation that your parents have set or lack thereof. So like everybody's situation is going to be different. The main point of me talking about it is just to let the other young women know that have been through it. Like it's somebody like I understand because I've been through it as well. And it's okay. If you want to talk about it, let it out. If you feel like it will help you move forward, then do that. Because and a lot of people said, they don't want to say anything because people either going to look at them like they crazy or B, blame them or say, well, you should know better. Why would you do something like that? But I always say, like, never say never. You never can know what something is going to be like until you get into that situation. And it's not fair to pass judgment off on people just because you've never been in that situation. So, I guess that's the standpoint that I'm coming from.
Yeah,
because it's
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say that I feel like it's important to make these distinctions because I feel like in many ways we're having at least two different conversations, right? And so one of the conversations, we're having this conversation about, you know, feeling forced to have sex, right? And that part comes from somebody else, right? So your partner is making you feel forced to have sex. And I think there's this other conversation that is, for whatever reason, internal or otherwise, you kind of feel obligated to have sex with this, or you find it an easier option to go through and have sex with that. And that's not the same thing as being forced to, right? And I think that it's also important to try to, as Sheree was just saying in the comments, to kind of make this distinction between, you know, like these new relationships, these dating, or we kind of just talking, or we kind of just messing around or whatever, versus these long-term relationships. Because I think the same thing can still take place in long-term relationships. Like, damn, I don't really feel, we sleep in the same bed, I guess. Like, who, you know what I mean? Like, but I think that it can happen. It can happen in both. And we gotta take a quick break. But before we do that, I want to pose this because women can be quite rapey. Like y'all can be very, very rapey at times.
Super aggressive. Aggression can be shown in both males and females. I agree.
Yeah, y'all can be quite rapey. There was a video that went viral like some point last year.
Where they was
just randomly asking women, like, how would they respond to their male partner telling them no for sex? And 10 out of 10 of them said, yeah, right, I'm taking that. Like, all 10 of these women was like, I'm taking it. Like, if I come home, I'm taking it, right? I've had plenty of women just tell me, like, nah, I've been out and I've been with my girls. I don't care if you in the bed sleep. I'm coming home, I'm getting that. Like, what? That sounds, and I just subtly remind them, like, babe, that sounds very rapey. You realize that, right? I'm just saying, I'm getting it. Okay, cool. But we got to take a quick break.
You was victimized, her?
I didn't say I was victimized. I didn't say that.
She would have victimized him in that case.
I didn't say. I mean, once you wake me up, I'm pretty much with it. But you know, the initial wake up, you got to wake me up a certain way.
See, that's why I said that though, because that's how this plays out. It's okay to get treated like this if you're a man.
That's what I'm saying. Women can be very rapey. I agree with you.
No, it's not okay for anybody to do anything that they don't want to do.
It don't even sound like you mean that. It don't even sound like it's okay, baby. It's okay. It ain't right for nobody. You don't even sound like you mean that.
It's not okay for somebody to do something they really don't want to do. That's what I'm going to say.
You know, look at Candace talking about some drop them. Now you gonna just come home, drop them. What? You've been out drinking all night with your girls. I'm in here passed out.
Not even all night. Too many mimosas at brunch.
Yeah, whatever. You come home. Now you didn't want the Sunday brunch. You didn't have bottomless mimosas. Now you come home. I still got a whole nother football game and a half to watch. And you think you just supposed to come here taking what you want? Get your rapey ass on somewhere. We got to take a break. When we come back, I'll put $1 in the jar because I wasn't supposed to let that curse word go. This is I Said What I Said. My name is Herb. His name is Tu. Her name is Josana. This is I Said What I Said on a Relationship Friday. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. Welcome to Inhale, Exhale, you guys. We are your health homegirls, Dr. Tanksley and Danny Time. We are being joined today by a guest, Samantha Allen, who's going to work with us today about attachment styles.
The overview of attachment styles is basically how we connect with people, how we have relationships. And I just want to clear up, it's not just about romantic relationships with your family, with your friends, how you host relationships, period. It's important to look at yourself and figure out what am I contributing to the relationship, or why am I attracting this style of a relationship. So all the attachment styles develop from your caregiving style. They say that from 0 to 5, you have already developed your attachment style. If you had a secure attachment style, your parents were very in tune with your moods, in tune with your behavior. They kind of soothe you when you cry. For secure, you grow up to be more communicative. You have good communication style. You feel positive about yourself and about others. You just have a healthier, you're able to set healthy boundaries, so on and so forth. And that just comes from the love, attention, and caregiving that you were given as a child, which usually develops a secure attachment style.
So on that note, with healing these things and changing your attachment style, we're reprogramming ourselves. Right. It's like our inner child that is showing up in these anxious, attachments, and we are wanting our way. We're reprogramming.
chip on my shoulder, big as a boulder. From all the years I've been doubted, left out, and simply looked over. Like niggas ain't see the massive potential. I see murder weapons, wall, you seize a pad and a pencil. I do for self, I learned you worth more when you ask for nothing. Thoughts of killing shit, my brain's a weapon of mass destruction. Nuclear thoughts lead to atomic verses. Me and Max attack with a common purpose. I stole on niggas, you stole out your mama purses. You bitch niggas been disloyal since KB Toys. The streets gave me poise. No Melvins, just a bunch of Rodneys and baby boys. Listen, I'm not the one that you should try your luck with. Get abducted, fucked up, and then left in a rusted bucket, biatch. Sick train of thought, only y'all can conduct it. Just when they thought I was dusted and not a touch, I adjusted, and bounced back like I had Spalding on me. I am God, the clouds open, now the sun's rays is falling on me. To the heavens is calling on me, my shit gon' be elite. Your shit is mystery meat, you say it's beef, but it's all baloney. And fuck these niggas and all they homies, they all is phonies. I'm riding till the wheels fall off this bitch and it's stalling on me. It's alarming these rappers think that we all in the same ballpark. Fuck y'all thought the disrespect is appalling. Standing over the witch's cauldron, concocting murderous plots to help me further my spot. Guess you can say I'm stirring the pot. Heard a lot of niggas think they fucking with the overlord or going overboard. Potent dope that spoke from vocal cords. The key to success is possessing a gift that can open doors. Therefore the flow is nasty like infected open source. You a knight in rusted armor, equipped with a broken sword. Throwing rocks at a fire-breathing dragon, provoking wars. These is more than rhyming words, my nigga. I'm no thesaurus, I'm too complete for you to compete. My shit deep as the ocean floors. But yet I'm barely scratching the surface. Trust me, it's more to come. So motherfucking
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Low homie, I ain't worried about nothing. I'm good. What's happening, good people? We are back and we are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest on a Relationship Friday. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to hang out with us, man. We appreciate it. It means a whole lot to us, man. Understand y'all could be doing anything else. Some of y'all ladies could be out there being quite rapey. But y'all hanging out with us, just talking about being rapey. Not even blocking the TV. I won't even block the TV. It's called multitasking. It's multitasking. I'm pulling and tugging. Pull them down. As soon as I walk in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, women can say things. Like, if we was like, yeah, I come in drunk and say, oh, my God, I don't care if you watching Real Housewives. Pull them down. Take them off. Like, we can't. It's y'all different, man. Y'all are different. And, you know, but you know, in fairness.
Bless your heart.
In fairness, when do you cease to become a victim and become a volunteer? For me, it's right about with my eyes open. It's right about with my eyes open. I cease to become a victim. Then I'm like, what is going on? They wake you up like, what's going on? But if she's waking you up right, then it's like, oh, continue. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. If you wake me up to try and please you, right? Like that's how. Like you want me to wake me up, and then for me to get this thing going, you wilding right now. Like you are completely wilding. You need to wake me up properly, or leave me alone. Like yes, fellatio, or leave me alone. What are we doing here? Don't wake me up expecting me to drive this train. I'm not. I'm a passenger here, man. I'm willing to be a passenger. You gonna have to ride though. I ain't. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing all that, fam. Wake me up thinking I'm finna be the one putting in work. This is your 45. Show, man.
Leave me alone. I'm going to sleep on the couch.
I'm going to sleep on the couch. So if she come in pulling and tugging, you just gonna roll out the bed. I'm going to sleep.
I'm tired, man. Beat it.
No, I'm with it. I'm usually with it. If you can wake me up, I'm with it. You just gotta wake me up the right way. Like don't come in just like tugging at me, pushing at me and stuff like that. Just go ahead and get busy, and then I wake up while you're getting busy. Don't think I'm finna wake up and be the catalyst of this movement because I'm not.
You're not. I get it.
So the conversation, if you're just tuning in, we have been talking to Josana, and she posted a question on Instagram or a conversation on Instagram or I don't know. It might have been Instagram, might have been Facebook. I don't even remember. But talking about how often women have sex when they do not want to. In many different circumstances. So whether this is a first-time partner, somebody you just met, somebody you're just talking to, or somebody you've been married to for 30, 40 years. How often are women having sex when they do not want to? Why are women having sex so often when they do not want to? And what responsibility men have in this dynamic, right? Because part of it could be this, sense of force coming from the partner. Part of it could be just this sense of responsibility or duty that is internal for that woman. I don't know how to reconcile that piece because nobody did that part to you. So we got to try to figure out where that part comes from. But it's a very, very good conversation. I'm very, very interested to hear what you women have to say, and I appreciate all of your input. Let's pop Joe Sana back up on the screen. Joe, you good? How you feeling?
I'm good.
You good? Definitely appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation. I'm glad it was a conversation that you had posed. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, that'd be a good topic for Relationship Friday if that many women are feeling that way. So I'm really trying to gauge all the women in the room to figure out, like, how frequent are we talking about here? Like how often is this happening? Like, so you ever had sex when you didn't want to?
I don't want to say didn't want to. I said I regretted it.
Oh, that's ain't nobody. That's a different question.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, you could have.
It ain't never been taken.
You could have fully wanted to. No, see, again, I think that's why it's important that we have this conversation carefully, or at least acknowledge that we're talking about different things, right? Because it ain't the force piece that we're necessarily talking about. I think that's an important piece too. But it ain't the force piece that we're necessarily talking about so much as it is the.
But I just never don't really manipulated to it either. So that ain't force.
Have you ever not even so even the manipulation piece? So if we go back to the men's side, I don't necessarily think that the man is manipulating her in this situation, but for whatever reason she feels an obligation to come up off that box. Why is that? Have you ever felt obligated to come up off your penis when you didn't feel like it?
Yes.
Oh God.
What, Joe?
Yeah, but I'm married, and it's only been in that situation.
Yeah. So you feel obligated, like I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta take some of this for a minute.
Like, you gotta take some of this for a minute.
I'm just saying, man.
Y'all make sex sound so,
but only
like such an arduous task.
No. Let me not say that because I'd be in trouble at home.
You ain't getting none no more. Oh, you don't want it?
You got to get him put in the doghouse.
Say less if you don't want it. Like, I don't know, Joe. What do you think some of these things are rooted in? So if we can't directly blame the partner, right? The partner hasn't overtly done anything that made you feel forced into this interaction, but yet you still feel some way, shape, or form obligated. Why is that, and where does that come from? Yeah, y'all acting like it's a chore. Good description.
Like
Robin.
I said, a lot of it. Okay, so I brought up the conversation piece because another young lady had brought that up. So like I said, I can't really speak on that piece because I've never had that happen to me. But a lot of it, like I was saying earlier, I think just gets rooted in like things that have happened like in your past, or sexual traumas, or self-esteem, or just, having a voice for yourself, feeling empowered. Like, I think that's kind of like where it starts from, because Toussaint was saying like, well, I have a daughter and I'm making sure I'm instilling all of this stuff in my daughter. Everybody might not have the type of father that he is, or some girls might not have a mother, or, some girls might not have a father. So like everybody's dynamic is going to be a little bit different. But sure. I wanted to bring up another point. Like, it was another young lady. She said like, yeah, there have been times where I just went through with it because I was like, oh, well, that's all he want anyway. So let me just get it over with,
Damn, where's your self-esteem when you're moving like that, though?
Come on,
I mean, it could be, it could be self-esteem thing, or it could be just frustration with yourself, because everybody does not grow and evolve at the same level. So just because you caught on to something or fully developed in one area at a certain point in your life, don't mean that everybody else is going to go through that. But if you can recognize it, like I did, and you could say like, okay, I need to correct this. This is a problem. And like you said, you no longer want to be a victim. And I don't like that word victim, because it's just like, it makes it seem like the person is just like, oh, woe is me, and oh, I'm just so sad. And it's not always that extreme. It may just feel like you may just not feel empowered enough to speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself. And now, like I said, this happens in many situations, not just sexual encounters. So, you know, but I think a lot of it just comes from trauma, because a lot of times things happen to people and they think it's normal. They think that that's the way this is supposed to go until they figure out later on in life, you know, like, oh, this is not correct. Okay, let me correct myself. Let me realign myself so, you know, I can have a better quality of life. So, and like you said, it's
No, go ahead.
No, that's all I was pretty much saying. But like, yeah.
So as you've gone on this journey and you've gone through these experiences where you found yourself having sex when you didn't want to, and I guess I would assume now you're kind of more aware of when you find yourself in those spaces. Have you gotten to a place where you feel confident saying, you know, to your partner, like, nah, I'm not really feeling it right now for any one of a myriad of reasons, like just I don't feel like it, or I don't feel comfortable, or whatever. Have you found yourself getting to that space of comfort? And if you have, how have you gotten there, and how do you go about stating that in the moment?
Okay, so again, I'm in a relationship right now, so it's kind of like in my relationship, I haven't experienced that. But prior to that, I've gotten to a point where either I'm not putting myself in situations where it can become just, you know, like compromising or uncomfortable, things of that nature, and that kind of takes some practice as well, you know, because like I say, everybody's journey is going to be different. And just, you know, if we are in that situation, just make it clear, because like I've hung out with people before and they be like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that, why don't you come to my house, whatever, and I'll just tell them in the door, like, you're not gonna get none, I'm not about to juice you, so I'm telling you right now. So if you decide that, you know, you want to change the plans or you want to do something else, I'm just like real straightforward and direct about it, so that they know in the beginning, you know, so that it's not any like, you know, misconceptions about expectations. But I seen something else, another conversation that some people were having about like, okay, if somebody invites you out of town on a trip, are you obligated to have sex with them? Right. So I'm gonna ask you all, if you invite a young lady out,
yes,
you know, out of town. Okay, so basically because you invite me out of town, I gotta have sex with you. I feel like it should be.
Oh, if you get flued out, you come out. You time out. Joe,
just need to know that
Joe. Come on now. Well, we're gonna keep it a buck now. Now I'm with you on the just because you came over. That don't mean
I'm asking a question. I'm just saying, should that be a requirement because you invited me somewhere? You can invite me.
That's not somewhere though.
It's an expectation. If I flew you from one state to a whole other state just to come see me, I think there's a reasonable expectation of sex in that transaction.
Reasonable expectation on whose end?
Both parties.
Who purchased the ticket?
And the person who got on the plane.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that you can expect all day long. You can assume all day long. But what I'm saying is, did you flat out say to that young lady?
So you talking about finessing somebody out of flight?
But if I'm flying you out, we've talked about having sex.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about finessing nobody out. I'm having a real conversation. I've never been in one of those situations, but it's a real conversation.
Let me ask you a question though. If you're getting flown out somewhere,
flued out,
how would you avoid the conversation of sex before getting flown out? What do you think you're getting flown out for?
What you mean avoid the conversation?
I'm asking the question. I'm saying, how do you avoid that conversation? Because if it's not an expectation, you couldn't have had the conversation. Because if we had the conversation and I'm flying you out, I would have had to say, well, yeah, you know, this is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, well, that's self-explanatory. If you tell them like, okay, I'm buying this ticket, so you know what's going on when you get here. That's obviously a conversation.
I think if you buying the ticket.
Yeah, I don't even see how the conversation got to that point where if it wasn't sexual, I don't see how it's like, yo, I'm finna buy you a flight to come see me so we can go to this art museum up the street. It's a phenomenal museum.
You might want to spend time with the young lady. Again,
that's fine. That is wonderful. Let's go to the museum. But
let's do all that. But I'm still trying to beat the Doonies.
I'm trying to beat the Doonies. Like that's
beat the Doonies down. Y'all crazy.
Yes, for sure. The Doonies is getting beat. You finna fly out here for a week or a weekend and like what? We finna sleep in the same bed. You finna sleep in the guest room. You're not flying to my house to sleep in the guest room. And ain't no
play Yahtzee.
Ain't no clothes. Ain't no clothes in my bed. That's not even. That's just against the
rules.
I'm
not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just asking because that's a big question that comes up a lot.
If you flew the dude out,
then if somebody
flew the dude out, Is you expecting him to
if
come
a
up
young
off
lady
that?
comes to your house,
Right.
you saying that automatically
Nope.
because she comes to your house, she gotta have sex with you.
No, I just
Yeah,
said
but
that.
that ain't cross state line.
I just said
That's
there's a
different
difference. I
conversation.
just said if you come over here just to kick it, that's cool. But if you got flued out,
Right, that's a different conversation.
if you
What
got
about
in
in
your
Chicago
car,
when you live in
If you
Hampton,
landing, you
if you landed, you riding.
it's a different conversation.
If you landed, you land.
If you landed, we having different conversations.
I'm saying if you just drove over my crib, right? You hopped in your own car and drove over here. No, I'm not saying there's an expectation of box, but if I flew you out here, there's an expectation of box. Hell, if I Ubered you over here, like,
that's petty.
I mean that is petty, but I'm saying definitely if I flew you out here, I think both of us have an expectation that we're about to have sex here. Now, why are you trying to? I don't know. I'm not reading the comments.
Yeah, that's what I would wonder why that wouldn't be an expectation of a woman. Why would you get on the plane to go see a dude if that wasn't part of the expectation?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I probably wouldn't go out of town with somebody who I don't have that type of relationship with. Me personally, but
yeah, it don't even make sense. Would you if you flew a dude out
I ain't
for whatever
nobody
reason?
nowhere.
Don't matter if you did, and he got there. Are you expecting him to come up off some penis or what?
I can't answer.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The first answer that you was about to say, that was your truth. That thing that was on the tip of your tongue, that was the truth.
That don't mean
not
nothing.
flying a man somewhere. So
Don't matter. That's not the point, right? That's not the point. The point is if you do, are you expecting him to come up off some pain or not?
I can't answer
Yes,
that
you
question
can.
because I'm not.
Yes, you can. You already answered it. Don't even worry about it. We saw the answer in your face. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Like even the women in here, even the women in the comments, like, nah, I'm kind of with the guys on this one. ROW said she said that to her husband, like he flew her to Dallas. She was like, and he was like, you know, if you know,
that's her husband.
If you want,
okay, like
listen
that's
to me.
her husband. That's a completely different conversation.
Let me finish. She said that he flew out to Dallas, and he was like, listen, if you want to come down, if you want to sleep in the other room, that's cool. Sleeping different. She's like, other room. We in the same bed. Like, what you think I flew down here for, fam? I came down here to get it popping. What do you talk like? Keep it a buck. That's like nobody's getting flued out to not get involved. That's not a real thing.
Okay, I was just asking because, like I said, if I go somewhere, I'm not going anywhere with nobody that I'm not on that level with. So not for me. But I've seen other people say like, just because you flat me out, are you expected to have sex with me? So I was just trying to.
So let me ask you another question in that regard, though, right? So if the woman jumps on the plane and she goes out there without the expectation of having sex, is she taking advantage of that man?
It could be possibly viewed.
Well,
as
ain't no
that,
could be.
I mean,
See, every time you put it on the women, she's like,
it's a lot of gray area up in there, you know, like. But it could be seen as that like, oh, you taking advantage of a free trip. But people feel like that about dates. Oh, you went out on a date to get a free meal. It's
true. It happens a lot.
Date.
It happens a lot. It happens all the time. Certain women deal with men, so they go to certain restaurants.
Men, they know they are not interested in. They have no real romantic interest in them, no long-term interest in them. They just hungry.
That's true.
I'm just hungry. He said he'd take me out to eat, so yeah, I'm gonna go eat. Stop playing with that man. Like,
but see, again, me personally, I really wouldn't do that because I don't got that type of time or energy.
Yeah, I'm just saying stop playing with that man.
I asked the question though, when you leverage a man like that, when you're using a man like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get to the position where he has an expectation because he's seeing it from the same vantage point you're seeing it from.
Yeah.
He's paying for it, you're being bought. Like I always say, let's call it what it is. Prostitution. So then you get there and you have no spiritual connection or even physical attraction to this dude, and you're like, I don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. But you prostituted yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know,
they got a prostitute.
What you call it? If I pay for it, and there's an expectation for what I paid for.
Conversation about are you busting down when you get out here should be had before the plane ticket is even bought.
Oh, but that's what I mean, though, right? But I'm not saying. So this is where we get caught up at.
Yeah, I need it in writing. I need a text message or email.
Listen to what I'm saying, though. And this
right, it needs to be in writing.
It needs to be in writing. This can't be a phone conversation because I need to be able to refer back to this.
But we move out. We're being
when I tell you to go find a hotel room and get out of my house.
The entire socialization of the society is prostitution. Mm-hmm. It legitimately is. And then we try to justify why or why not we're not going to prostitute with certain people. Mm-hmm. it's still prostitution, right? So it's when you see the woman on the corner selling box for that real legitimate exchange, right? That tangible capital. Here's $40.
Here's this for that. Direct
This what you
transaction.
get,
Right.
Every man is operating in a negotiating stance.
Sure.
And so is that woman.
Sure.
What am I getting out of this deal? I think there was one sister in here, we asked her, like, if we just tallied up all the dinners, all the dates, all the yada, if we just go through that, and she was maybe in her 30s. From whatever age you start doing is how much money you think you got. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a woman who at least made 50 grand off dudes. In gifts and dinner. Right?
Agreed.
You put a dude in that same conversation, at best couple hundred.
Yeah.
Right? So there is a transactional exchange happening here. And it ain't for your time. And it ain't to make sure you're healthy and fed. It's for a box.
That's real.
So we got to be honest about that. And I think because
Get the door for you once.
it's the Chris Rock joke. But because of the socialization of that kind of environment, and then we go to this space and place where the line keeps getting blurred. And now it's like I'm a victim, and now it's like I'm a volunteer, or now I'm a victimizer. But this is how this whole society has been socialized.
But Devin just made a good point. He said, just like Brandon Alexander Williams was saying when he was on here earlier, Devin says, like Brandon was saying, over-communicate. I can't go with you because I'm not feeling you. Just like that. Nothing wrong with that, right? Just put it out there.
And that's why I said some of these scenarios, I wouldn't put myself, because I'm an over communicator. So if I'm not interested in you in that manner, or if, you know, we not on that level, then I'm not even going to put myself in that situation to make it awkward for neither one of us. Because if I'm going out with you to kick it with you, is because I find some interest in you, I'm trying to get to know you, or, you know, something of that nature. But like I said, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah, and for me, on some, you know, individual date thing, that ain't, you know what I'm saying, I don't have an expectation of that.
I'm going to say this.
Right?
When shit is healthy, more than likely, you want to be sexually active with that person.
Yes. Like, that's my thing. Right? My expectation comes from the fact that I think that if you spend a whole day or a whole weekend with me, you're going to want to bone me. That's just how I feel about me.
We'll take even a step further. If I'm sexually attracted to you and that's what I want to do, like, it don't necessarily have to be like something extravagant that has to, you know, like be a precursor to that.
Sure.
Because if I want to get you something, I'm gonna get you something.
Right.
No, I get that too, but I'm just talking about and I ain't even talking about the trip no more. I'm talking about the whole context of the conversation. How many times women have sex with people out of obligation, or to have sex that they don't really want to have? What I'm saying is, if you're a healthy person, and I mean healthy, like overcome whatever traumas you're dealing with, and you're in a relationship with me and we're healthy people, sex is a healthy part of that relationship. You know what I mean? But then we get to these spaces and places, and because they're not built on healthy ideas, they're built on social norms of manipulation. What can I get out this deal? Like, that becomes, and that the way I present it kind of makes it abrasive, right? But, you know, there's conversations women didn't have with their mama. They say don't leave no man house with just a wet ass. But what you telling your daughter is to be a prostitute.
That's true.
Like, see, it don't sound like that, but that's what you're telling them.
No, you're right.
Right?
I follow
and
completely.
That's not healthy.
It's not.
That's all I'm saying.
It's not. That's a very, very, very real thing, and I agree with you, Josana. I want to wrap this up maybe in the next couple minutes. I don't want to keep too much of your time. I really, really appreciate it though.
You're welcome.
Why, when you say that, you know, now I'm in a relationship, so that doesn't happen, and first of all, salute to you and your partner for that not happening in your relationship, where there's never a time where you like, I don't.
It hasn't happened. Yeah, it hasn't happened.
Yeah. But do you acknowledge that it could happen even in a long-term relationship where you're just like, I don't really feel
definitely.
Like it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was saying. Like, what the young lady was saying is that, like, you in a relationship and it's just like, some people, I guess, they feel because you're in a relationship, that means it's sex on demand all the time. And that's not necessarily correct. And what I was saying is that should be a dialogue that partners should have. Like, okay, babe, I'm not feeling it today. And the partner be like, okay, babe, without feeling slighted or feeling like, oh, you don't want to have sex with me, or ooh, whatever. Because sometimes, I mean, those situations can go from any extreme to just being like, okay. And because people have said that they've got raped in relationships. Like, raped
that's
in marriages.
possible, for sure.
It's possible. So I just use that as an example because we were talking about like obligations and expectations. Like, because I'm in a relationship with you, does that mean that I have to have sex with you every single time you ask me for it? And the answer is no. But like I said, I enjoy,
Yeah, no, the answer is no.
being
but,
intimate with my partner. So my dynamic is a little bit different.
Yeah, you usually with it. I referenced this older lady who I heard give some marital advice some time ago, and they was like 80 something. Her and her husband was like 80 something. They had been married literally since they was like 18, 19, something like that. And so they asked her, like, what's the key to staying married so long? And unprompted, led in any way, shape, or form, the lady was just like, I've never told him no for sex. And in her mind, that was the reason why they had been together for so long. I don't know how real that is. I will say this. Having been married, even if you if you have the night where it's like, I don't really feel like it tonight, or for whatever reason, or she come in late and you already sleep, like, I'm not really on that. I definitely, like, the next morning, I definitely feel an obligation to beat the doonies before I leave out the door. Because otherwise, we're gonna have a problem all day. You're gonna have an attitude all day because you tried to get involved last night. I wasn't with it for whatever reason. So now, before I leave the house today, the doonies have to be beat, and they gotta be beat properly. It can't be like that normal before work little quickie action. Like, it gotta be like a proper doonie beating. And otherwise, like, we're gonna have an attitude today. I already know we're gonna have an attitude today. So even if I wake up the next morning, it's like I still don't really feel like having sex. Like, I feel obligated to do it at that point. I feel like
but
I
see,
owe
again,
you,
but
like
there's that obligation word again. That's that obligation word again. Everybody should be understanding and like respectful of each other's boundaries and feelings. Like, I should make you feel like you obligated to have sex with me. And vice versa.
I was, but then I decided not to.
Say it.
No, say what you gotta say.
It's just different though, right? And this goes into the entire construct of American relating, right? Most of us really aren't relating in the first place. Most of us are looking for ownership, and it changes the context of the conversation.
Yep.
Just like the sister says, I don't want to have sex all the time, but if I feel like I own you, then I can do with you as I please.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, and it's the same thing what you just said too. Like, if you might have said no on Friday night, but Saturday morning you got to come through because it's an obligation because it's not really relating.
You got to meet your partner's needs.
It's not necessarily even that simple either, though, right? It's still
right.
What about the needs of the other partner who doesn't want to be intimately involved?
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about conversation. Like, so you want to have a conversation last night. I didn't really feel like having a conversation tonight.
That's the minimal. And this goes back to the shit you really rock with. I'm paying my dollar. But it goes back to the ideas that you really rock with. So that obligation is based in the fact that there's a barrier on whether or not that partner can get that fulfillment somewhere different.
Sure.
It's all still based in the construct of ownership.
Sure.
Right? Because sex is overly available everywhere. For anybody.
It's out here.
For dudes and women.
You can get laid.
Please believe it.
You can get laid.
It's free. All of it.
It's out here.
You know what I mean? But the barriers and the obligations around how we are socialized to relate puts us in this context of ownership rather than actual relating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And in that, it becomes a negotiation. Everything becomes a negotiation. Everything becomes a negotiation. If you just said most women have sex out of whatever, however we start this conversation, women have a whole lot of sex with times that they don't want to. If women was being real honest, most of the dudes they having sex with ain't dudes they want to have sex with in the first place, because they create their relationship standards off a socialized idea instead of a real spiritual idea.
Say that louder for the people
right?
in the front.
So the dude,
that's true too.
The right car, the right brand, he dresses the right way. When you really want to be in
ain't even no chemistry
Pookaboo in them basement, in grandma basement, getting your backbone out. It is what it is.
It is
but
what
Pookaboo don't fit the brand.
It is what
but
it
it's
is.
all based in that same construct. It's all based in how we've been socialized.
Absolutely.
So it just is what it is. I'm not saying it is what it is because it's messed up, but it's a slippery slope because it's gonna always keep getting worse and worse because nobody's being honest.
No, that's a real thing. I think you're absolutely right. Like you got a lot of people who are in relationships with people because the tax bracket aligns or whatever else, the address aligns or the vehicle aligns. But I don't like this one. I don't like this person from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like from nothing. I don't want to have sex with this person. I don't want this person really touching me like that. It's not even a real thing, right?
But that's a conscious decision that you're making. So that's a little bit, I mean, well, they're all conscious decisions, but that's a little bit different in the perspective that I was coming from. Because if I've already made it up in my mind, like, he ugly, I don't want to have sex with him, but he got a whole bunch of money, and I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, secure
right, you
bag,
already chose to institute yourself.
Okay, right. Then I've made a decision like, okay, I'm sleeping with
So
him
check
for
this.
specifically financial gain. But the piece that I was speaking on was just women feeling pressured or get in situations with men who don't make them feel like, you know, empowered enough to speak up for themselves, or they don't feel safe in speaking up for themselves and saying like, I don't want to do this, so I'm just going to just get it over with so it could be done with and I could just walk away from the situation, because sometimes it's easier to do that for some women. So that was my standpoint, because we kind of having like two different conversations now.
I dig it.
But
yeah, no, you was about to say something too.
So I was reading the comment from Brandon, the poet. He said we got to stop grooming boys to. Let's keep moving on me. Hold on. We got to stop grooming boys to normalizing male hold'em.
Male hold'em.
Yeah.
We got to stop grooming boys to be hoes.
Yeah. I mean, that's real. I mean, we.
So I don't know if that is real though, and this is what I mean about how we being socialized, right? I get it from a Western construct perspective. I totally get it, right? It's just nuances in the conversation. But there's a reason why a man produces 4 billion sperm cells and a woman produces 400 eggs. There's a scientific reason.
Yeah, you know, I don't really subscribe to the Western, you know, relating constructs.
But
you know.
it plays out into the socialization.
Sure.
The reason why polyamorous lifestyles are viewed in this construct as wild or different is because we've been socialized into monogamy.
Right.
But the reality of it is
monogamy
we're not a monogamous species. We're just not. That's why you get the cheating wife. That's why you get the cheating husband. I get it. We've been socialized a certain way. And I've been socialized in the same manner. I'm not saying one is better or worse. I've been socialized in the same way. I got a wife. But there's whole other societies that operates outside this construct, and they work perfectly fine. If we get beyond the Western construct of religion, everybody on the earth operated in a polygamous manner. We talked about Genghis Khan the other day, and now Genghis Khan took it. He was taking a lot of that, but Genghis Khan nearly wiped out the Y chromosome.
Right.
Like, that's how much pussy he was getting in China.
Right.
That he legitimately shapeshifted the society.
Right.
If he could just ejaculate that many times,
right,
it's not natural for him to just be with no one woman. That's not the scientific design. But we've been socialized a certain kind of way, and I'm not judging either or.
No, do what works for you.
I'm not judging either or, but when we get into the construct of, like when we say we got to stop socializing boys to not be hoes, well, that's interesting, because what it is really doing is socializing them away from what their natural nature is.
But
socializing them away from what God designed them to be.
I think
from a scientific standpoint.
But the thing with polygamy is that in Western society, we're not like that. You know what people think polygamy is? Having orgies every night with 3, 4.
Yeah, they don't
5
understand
girls.
it. Like that's why I really had a conversation. Because as soon as I have it, people are like, "Oh, you just want to fuck as many people as possible."
No,
like,
and that's because
no matter how many times I tell y'all that's not what it's about, that's what people make it about.
Right, and I'm not for or against polygamy. I feel like if that works for your household, then do what works for you. I have a friend that's
hella out of order. Am I hella out of order?
I don't think you out of order.
I just think the entirety of the construct is out of order.
I think that, you know, I think that there are a lot of flaws in the Western constructs of relating as it pertains to monogamy. That being said, I don't think that when I say I don't really believe in monogamy like that, it's not this idea of like, okay, just go do whatever you want. I just believe in love and abundance. I believe in exploring genuine connections with people if it's a real thing, right? And exploring it that way, which if you are over communicating and being completely transparent and honest, it can be a healthy situation where nobody is being harmed in any given way.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? But for your ego.
So Robin says, but girls are being socialized to be wives and are natural nurturers. Natural nurturers, I would agree, but I don't even know if we're being socialized to be wives. I don't even think girls are socialized to being wives, specifically in 2021. But I do think you are being socialized to administer to this patriarchal system, right? So even the way you are, I still believe y'all are the most sexual of the sexes, right?
doubt.
But what happens in this patriarchal design is that they shame you for desiring sexual favor. They shame you, right? So it becomes your value asset is more attached to the brand of my sexual behavior than the reality of my sexual behavior. Which is why y'all don't be having orgasms till you 40. Which is why you be chasing. When y'all turn 30-something, y'all sexual desires change because you start to strip the narrative of what the rest of the world thinks of me.
Yeah, you start to really care about what makes you
boy is going to respond to his
you may
natural
just
inkling.
be uneducated. Like it's a lot of different reasons why those type of things happen. And like you not a woman, so like I think you kind of generalize a little bit because you like, oh, that's why you ain't had no orgasms. You was 40 because you worried about somebody.
Again, we paint with a broad brush because we talking to an audience, right? I don't mean just you specifically.
No, I'm saying women in general. It's kind of not like that black and white, but I mean.
But it is kind of common amongst women to not orgasm.
Right, but for different reasons. Not necessarily because they worried about what somebody think about them.
But I think that has a lot to do with it, right? If you're not able to be free yourself, then how you going to reach that point? If you're not comfortable yourself in having sex because of the brand or what the rest of the world's going to think of me, right? We talk about Erykah Badu on here a lot. Somebody, I can't remember who, but tagged us on. Or I like
you
Erykah
talk
Badu.
about
I talk
Erykah
about
Badu.
Erykah Badu. I like Erykah Badu. Here's my other dollar. Take 5 out of there. But the conversation we always have about Badu is that she, in a lot of ways, at least from the outside looking in, it looks like she's operating in the pureness of her femininity, right? So here she is with a bunch of different baby daddies. Here she is with all these different kids, but she doesn't necessarily get the moniker of being a slut bucket,
right?
Right?
A slut bucket.
So does having multiple baby fathers necessarily make you a slut?
That's the argument I'm exactly making. She has multiple baby fathers, and that's not the conversation you have around Erykah Badu.
Right.
Nobody has that conversation around Erykah Badu, but they had that conversation around Ciara. Why? What's the difference?
I don't think Ciara was slut bucket.
I didn't say you thought it. I'm just saying.
Or any random sister walking through the hood that got
it's
5
about
baby
you
daddies.
or me. It's about how the society has viewed these two different people. There is a connotation that we can attach to both of them women, even though in some ways they have similar experiences. And what I'm saying is that is leverage to put you in this place to fit into the box of patriarchy. Yeah. It just is. The whole design is flawed. But we try to fix the flaw in the design when we try to fix this niche of flaw. Right. Where I'm uncomfortable at. Right. But the entirety of the design is flawed. It's not what God intended.
I personally
so how many
don't
wives
disagree
do
with
you have, Tucson?
I only got one. I told you I'm a victim of the socialization too.
Okay, so why have you agreed to be only married to one person if that's the way that you feel? So you
because
not
I was raised in this same
you
social
worried about what other
setting.
people think too.
I was raised in this same social setting. I'm not saying I'm above the social understanding. That's all I know too. I didn't grow up in the polygamous. I wasn't born in the polygamous society. I don't even know what that's really about. Right? So my values are shaped by this society.
About, but you saying it's not natural.
No, I didn't say it's not natural. I didn't say it's not natural. I said it's probably more natural than monogamy. But I mean,
not natural. You saying that monogamy is not natural.
It's
but you
not.
Just said
And
you don't know that much about polygamy.
That's the scientific design of the human body. It's not natural. And it's not even that we're not monogamous anyway. Right? The first person you had sex with ain't the last person you had sex with. That's the definition of monogamy. So you done been with 20 people already. Then you monogamous when you meet the one you like. No, you're not. No, you're not. By definition, you're not monogamous. You done already tried 20 dicks.
No, I'm with you on that piece, and I'm also I just don't necessarily like. I think it's a lot to ask of any person to be like, I am going to be physically, sexually attracted to this one person and only this one person for the next 80 years. I think that is a lot.
That's unrealistic to be,
I think that is a very, very a whole lot to ask. But we kind of move that way. I think the accepted social norms of monogamy kind of cause people to move that way, even to the point where it's not even in most relationships. Now, in some relationships, this is cool, but in most relationships, it's not even acceptable for your partner to look at another person and be like, "Ooh, that person is nice looking." What you looking at her for? Because I have eyes. That's why. Only because I have eyes and I can see her.
That's unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, but unrealistic or not, that is how we kind of move, and we expect that. And meanwhile, it's not working for anybody. Everybody is out here cheating and sleeping around and doing all this extra stuff. And it's like, if we could just over communicate and be honest about this thing, I think we could find a happy existence within a different construct. This one clearly is not working. The divorce rate tells me that. Even people who have not gotten divorced have still experienced infidelity in many, many cases. I think if any of us looks around at 10 of our friends that are in long-term relationships, I think that you would find no less than 8 of those relationships have experienced infidelity. But everybody's walking around like monogamy is this, can we just be honest that this way isn't working? And so perhaps maybe we should explore the possibility of relating to each other in a different way. Just maybe we should consider it.
No, yes, absolutely. That's why I say I understand a lot of the principles about polygamy. I'm not a polygamist. I don't want to be a polygamist. But I'm just saying I understand why some people do it. But because when you say like clearly it's not working, it's just not working for those particular people. For some people,
I mean for the vast majority of people who are in that construct. I just said that I think 8 out of 10 monogamous, long-term committed relationships.
But who said it was that many? That's a big percentage.
So you do it. You run experiment in your own head. You think about 10 of your friends that you know are in long-term committed relationships. I bet you at least 8 of them have experienced or are experiencing infidelity in that relationship.
The data says it's 60-40. They say 60% of men cheat and 40% of women cheat. That's what the data says, the real data, right?
I don't know how you get data on that, but okay.
Because they got websites based around. The whole Ashley Madison site was about cheating, and they get exposed.
I'm just saying, as I think about relationships that I know people are in,
mm-hmm.
and you pick any 10, I think you'll find infidelity in about 8 of them.
But be clear though, right? I'm not saying one way or the other way is the definitive. I'm not saying that.
Do what makes you happy.
Right. Do what works for you.
There's a natural connotation of the human design. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also saying that even though I'm a naturally born male, I was socialized in the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
So even though my body, from whatever way I say, hey, go get this, go get this, go get this, right? And because I don't have this isn't a powerful matriarch per se.
Right.
So you can't really shame me as a woman.
Right.
Specifically sexually.
Right.
Right? I could go do, and I'm going to be praised or indifferent, really, more than anything. Who cares? Right?
No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. But that's really not the same for a woman.
Nah.
It's not the same. And that is because we are in a patriarchal design.
Yeah.
Right? And that is about socialization. That's it. Yeah. Right? But if we're going back to the very nature of human, if I am producing 4 billion sperm cells from 18 to whatever my having sexual age is, from the time my joints start shooting to the time my joints start working, is 4 billion sperm cells in there.
Mm-hmm.
From the time you're able to produce an egg to the time you're not able to produce an egg, it's only 400 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The math is off.
Okay, but
there's a reason why it's a 7-to-1 number male to woman.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why that is. We're not born at a 50-50 rate.
Right.
There's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we can produce these 4 billion sperm cells. We could populate them eggs and keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
In turn, keeping a society rooted in birth rate.
Yeah.
Rooted in growth.
Right.
We can keep producing.
Right.
All the other constructs are just that. Constructs. You could choose to abide by them or choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
But to say we need to hold them kind of bother me because it's saying socialize him away from what God intended.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's right or wrong.
No, I feel you on that piece. And for me, even at a more basic level than I guess that is the most basic level. But I mean, like I feel you on the scientific piece, but I'm even on a pleasure piece, right? Just like the long-term relationship, right? You get into this thing and it's cool, it's love, and we didn't build this whole life together, and so we are life partners, and we should remain life partners. That's probably best for both of us to be life partners. But sexually, we kind of lost that spark. And so you might have a sex life with somebody, like you should just go do that. Like I don't know, man. I think that we become kind of imprisoned by some of these constructs, even when they no longer fit our personal construct, our personal beliefs or our personal desires anymore. And I think that we ignore our personal beliefs and desires far too often, and ultimately it's going to lead to some issue anyway, right? You're not going to just bury it. You're not going to just suppress this thing for 40 years. That's not a real thing. Somebody going to be out here doing something that's going to ultimately cause an issue. And it's like, can we just be real about this whole thing or not?
Even in the concept, like we keep saying polygamy versus monogamy, I don't even want to have them.
I know.
Let's erase them titles. That's not what I'm dealing in, right? Because people are like, well, to be polygamous, you got to be able to afford. No. I'm not saying that because even polygamy is a construct. What I'm saying is the very natural inclination.
As soon as we talk about relationship, it becomes transactional.
It's a human, just the very natural nature of the human design says this is what it is.
Uh-huh.
There's a reason why at 40 years old, women become uber sexual. And it's usually because they finally found the confidence, per se, to strip themselves of the patriarchal brand design. I want to do this.
Right.
And on another note, you start realizing that you're competing for the same man with the 20-year-old woman. So now I'm more aggressive. I'm going to be more upfront. It is what it is.
Sure.
Right? But at 16 through 25 or whatever, well, you're not dealing in that way. Most of the time, the reason why you're not dealing in that way is based on the social design. That's it. I just don't want to feel like I'm the hoe. I think that's, at least in my opinion, right? And even in regards to the poem we heard today, when the brother said, my daughter can't have sex till she's 18, or I don't want her, that's part of the poem, right? Well, that man is abiding by that construct too. Abiding by the patriarchal design. My daughter shouldn't have or shouldn't feel sexual desires. Why not? She a human.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, you know what I say about that thing all the time. I think that as soon as, I think you need to be like imparting your children with wisdom and knowledge as soon as they're able to handle it about whatever topic it may be. So
Absolutely.
Entrepreneurship, sex, whatever the topic is, as soon as you think they can handle it, give it to them. I say all the time that humans are the only species on this planet that intentionally delays the development of our offspring. Every other species on this planet, the moment their offspring is born, they are trying to prepare them for the environment that they just inherited. Us, we try to shield them from that environment as long as we can, knowing full well eventually they're going to be in it.
Brandon Alexander, why are you still in these comments? I thought you had somewhere to go. I really wanted to talk to you, but you had somewhere to go.
I said he's still here. He could be talking to you.
We could have been on the phone.
Listen, Josana, I want to give you the last word. Anything that you want to leave us with as we prepare to depart from this place?
Yeah, I was saying, I just want, like you asked earlier, what can men do to just help in these situations? I just feel like men should just be encouraging and empowering to their partners, encourage them to over communicate, as you said, and for women to just feel empowered.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, they should just feel empowered, and it's okay to stand up for yourself and, just speak up for yourself. And if you don't want to be in a situation, then be verbal about that and feel okay about it. Yeah, so that would be my 2 takeaways. And that is an ongoing process. Sometimes you do have to, grow through that and evolve to get to that point where you feel like you can't stand up for yourself in that way. So that's it.
Well said, ma'am. Thank you so very, very much for raising this very important issue and then being willing to come on here and talk about it.
Definitely appreciate you sliding.
Certainly appreciate you taking the time and doing so. We got to do it again sometime. You be well, ma'am. Whenever the world permits, we got to link up and hang out, man. It's been a while.
Yes,
since I
likewise.
seen you. I bumped into Ebony last summer or something. I don't know. I bumped into Ebony at some point, last summer.
We saw you too 63rd. On 31st Street.
Oh yeah, I saw y'all out there. And I saw Ebony after that at the one on 63rd.
No, I'm just playing.
Huh?
No, we all saw you.
Nah, y'all my peeps, man. I love y'all, man. And so definitely got to link up with y'all as soon as the world permits. But thanks again for taking the time. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys. You guys be blessed.
Indeed, you too. That was Josana, kind enough to come in and hang out with us and talk about this issue that I thought interesting when I saw it on her page. So that was good to chop it up with her too. Any closing remarks for wrapping up that conversation? Well, I'll tell y'all what, we will leave it at that, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the conversation. We greatly, greatly appreciate you all. Special thanks to the good brother Brandon Alexander Williams and to the sister Josana for hanging out with us this afternoon and joining us on the show. Greatly, greatly appreciate you both taking the time out of your respectively busy schedules to come through and chop it up with us here on I Said What I Said on a Relationship Friday edition of the Blackest Conversation in America, intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Y'all make sure y'all hang out with us this evening at 8 o'clock. Chris the Critic is going to be here giving his very, very unique perspective on relationships and how people go about getting in them or staying in them and or why. So Chris the Critic will be here, and then Magda will be here at 9. So y'all hang out with us this evening here on the network. We appreciate you all. Hang out with us this weekend too, man. Get up early. We got what?
Nothing.
Okay. We got I do, I did, I don't. We got Latasha doing that. And then we got the Chicago Church Power Hour with Pastor Keys. Bless his heart. Then hang out with me and the Bigs. Eugene McIntosh, Terrence Tomlin.
Say y'all
Kickoff
wild.
Kickback
5:53.
Super Bowl edition. Who said that? Who said? Out to your Hey, that's funny.
We finna ride these 7 outs.
We got Latier. We gotta talk to you because Latier got a dope show that I've been thinking about bringing to the network if she with it. She does a show called Makeup Sex. She does it on Thursday nights where she kind of she talks about sex while doing her makeup, right? And so it's called Makeup Sex. Really, really dope conversation. Y'all check that out on her Facebook page on Thursday nights. But anyway, y'all hang out with us this weekend. Super Bowl edition of the Kickoff Kickback,
Super Bowl is this weekend, right?
Yeah, Super Bowl is
hey,
this
who
weekend.
we collectively betting on? Who did Gene say we betting on? What's the spread?
I think G is rolling with the Chiefs. I don't know what the spread is. If you're still in here,
Gino, I got $100, man. I'm gonna give it to you because I don't not do that.
It depends. It depends on what the line is set. You know what I'm saying? So that $100 might make you $10 depending on where the line is. You know what I mean?
That's it.
It ain't like you bet me $100. So you bet me $100, you win, you get another $100. It depends on where the line is.
But you gotta take the line is based on the score though, right?
It can be. It's a lot of different ways. Talk to Gino.
Yeah, Gino know that. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna give Gino my 100.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to Gino about it. Gino say, "Are we testing work?" We definitely gonna test and work before we get out of here. But y'all make sure y'all hang out with us for the Super Bowl edition of the Kickoff Kickback and Sunday evening. Inhale, exhale with Dr. Audrey Tanksley. We got programming for y'all this weekend. Y'all hang out with us. Y'all be good to each other. It's going to be real, real cold out there, man. Y'all find a way to stay warm. Not as warm as they like it in this doggone studio. The temperature gauge has finally come down to 80 degrees. We've been here 3 hours. It's come down to 80. I've been watching it come down. We walked in here.
I've never noticed that ever.
Yeah, that temperature gauge is right there. And when we walked in here, it was at 89 degrees, bro. Like, they off the meat rack in this joint.
It's like 155 in
here.
Yeah,
they are off the absolute meat rack in here. And they trying to cook us for sure.
I just noticed something.
What's
you asked
happening,
me, did I have any last words around that last conversation?
Yeah, you
Do
said
you
no.
have any last words around that last conversation?
No.
Because you be setting me up for failure with that last word shit.
No, you know what I got. I mean, I say what I got to say all the time. It ain't no thing.
So I say what I got to say all the time.
I feel no. You be biting your tongue. You scared. You scared, man. You gotta let your nuts hang sometimes. It just is what it is. I think that everybody has moments where they don't really feel like getting involved with their partner, but they do so for any one of a number of reasons. And I think that, if we over communicate, as the good brother Brandon says, we can probably find our way not doing that or not feeling obligated to do that. But it is what it is. Me, myself personally, wake me up properly, I'm cool. I'm cool with it. We'll leave it right there, man. But y'all have a phenomenal evening. Make sure y'all hang out with us this evening, 8 and 9 o'clock. Chris the Critic, then Unloaded and Uncovered with Magda. We will be back here on Monday, same time, same place at 3 p.m. for Ron the Rilla and for Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Till then, y'all be good to each other.
Let that test your work rock.
Peace.
WIFTDPM.
Live it up. You about that life? I'm about that life. You ain't really about that life. If you really about that life, JC, spit a key. Let me test your work. Boss, you the boss? Let me test your work. Jeezy, you talking breezy? Let me test your work. Cam, you the man? Let me test your work. Dre and Snoop, like that chronic, I need something stronger. Molly cute, that's like an aspirin for my daughter. Big time, in the club with a case of Ace. And I stiff that whole table. Scarface, another court case. I'm a frequent offender. When Wyclef was hot, I was gone to November. 6 years.
hard time. Bobby was fucking up, Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high and so in love. When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her. I could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go in cardiac arrest. Hands up under her dress. Lindsay Lohan her mess, but I still go above her breast. I must confess, I heard from a little birdie. Bring some crystal meth, you can get that from Fergie. Had a real nice dream, me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras, I was high in Rob Ford. Brick after brick, like Shaq at the free throw. I stayed hard, I put coke in my